Yo, yo, yo. We back at it again. Hockey Happy Hour coming at you live. We got pretty much Stanley Cup final recap, games 1, 2, and 3. We have a new coach in Philadelphia we got to talk about, John Tortorella, signing a 4-year contract to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. We got so much more going on. We got NHL awards being announced as we speak. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got to get at it. Let's go. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's do this.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like oh, this game he stink!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sinsuti, along with the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
What up?
And the Broken One himself, Rob Povia.
I've done what? I haven't entered shit. Thank you very much.
You entered my heart.
That was Christian Bale when people told him he's entered the MCU with Thor: Love and Thunder. He's like, I entered what? I entered shit.
Bro, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that. That looks pretty good.
indeed.
And tonight, gentlemen, we will be talking about the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Finals. It has arrived. The battle in the Coliseum has begun. And it has been rather intriguing, to say the least, to start off this Stanley Cup final. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we also talk about. We're going to give you updates, of course, on who has won their respective rewards. We have a few that have already won, but also we will be talking about, as Brian alluded to, John Tortorella. We'll get to that and other news around the league, of course, and we'll have our shootout segment. And as always, we are brought to you by Manscaped. You can get 20% off with free shipping with the code of A2D at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping with the A2D code at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Because you know what? There's one thing in this world that ladies don't like. Brian, what is it that ladies don't like?
That funky junky funk.
Yeah. Don't keep that. Do yourself a favor and do the ladies a favor. Upgrade your life, get Manscaped, and get that area taken care of. And tonight, for the poll, once again, brought to you by BetUS, which is the leading online sports book that has been in the market for over 25 years. You can bet anywhere in the U.S. on everything, and you can use the link that you see right down below for 125% sign-up bonus. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a sign-up bonus that has a lot of value to it. And you know what? You could throw around a little bit of money here and there and make yourself a little bit of cash on the side. Can't hurt nobody to get a little side hustle going. And tonight's poll question is Tampa Bay will take the rest of the series just like they did against the Rangers. Agree or disagree? We saw the Rangers put Tampa down 2-0, and then Tampa just said, okay, whatever, and pulled themselves back together, won 2 games in Tampa, then proceeded to win the next 2 after that, one in New York, the other one back home, finished off the series. Is the possibility a repeat of that happening? Boys, what are you thinking?
I'm going to strongly disagree with this poll. It's no disrespect to the Rangers because the Rangers are a very good club, but here's the difference between the Rangers and the Colorado Avalanche. No, I give the Rangers the edge in goaltending because they have the better goaltender in Igor Shesterkin versus Darcy Kemper. But the difference between the Rangers and the Colorado Avalanche, experience in these situations. Rangers are still a relatively young team. They have very good players in place. They're going to be a team to reckon with for a long time with how things are right now. They have one of the best defensemen in the league in Adam Fox, and it's only going to get better with Brandon Schneider. And then on the front side, obviously you have Zibanejad, you have Lafreniere, who needs to take a step forward next year, and I think he's going to. They have talent everywhere on this team. I just think Colorado is more complete, and the experience that this team has is the only thing that lacked with the Rangers. I see Colorado answering in Game 4 after Game 3, and we know that they can score on Vasilevsky. But it's first game back, it's home. You're down 2-0. You're playing a little bit more desperate hockey than you would being down 1-1, or let's say now that they're down 3-0, you're facing a really desperate hockey team, so they're going to be pushing a little bit harder. I don't see Colorado not putting up a fight in Game 4 and figuring out ways to adjust to what Tampa Bay did in Game 3. They rode that home crowd so well. You got the hype behind it. They answered really well to some of the goals that Colorado put up there. So that's what you were looking for. A team response, and Tampa Bay responded. I don't see it happening in Game 4, and then Colorado goes back to home for Game 5. I don't necessarily think that. I really don't think this series is getting past 6, and I really don't think that. Now that they're playing a really solid Colorado team that has a lot of drive behind it, I don't think. I think Tampa Bay is going to have some trouble actually putting away a decent team in the Stanley Cup Finals this year versus Dallas the first year and Montreal last year. They have a legit challenge here. So, to me, it's not – again, I'm not disrespecting Tampa. Great team, great dynasty. They deserve to be where they are. But they're playing a real team now. And I think Colorado's going to adjust for Game 4, and we're going to have to see how they handle Game 5.
All right. Rob, how do you feel about this?
I can dig what Brian's saying, but I'm not, believe it or not, I'm going to actually agree. And it's not because I picked Tampa to win the cup last week. The two were not connected whatsoever. But many were doubting Tampa after seeing them get blown out of the building 7-0 in Game 2. But you know what, Brian? I'm not one of them, man. This team has played poorly on the road all playoffs and is experienced enough to know when a playoff game is just out of hand, like it was in Game 2. So they licked their wounds. They conserved that energy for Game 3, which, as we saw last night, was a much, much stronger effort. I mean, they'll eventually need to take a road game if Tampa is going to come through and win this series, certainly in the 6 games that I said, let alone even in that 7th game up in Denver. But with the controversy arising as to who should be in net for the Avs, that's a key thing here. Everything you said was true about the forward pressure, the defensive pressure. There's a question mark in goal, and we saw that with Kemper getting pulled in Game 3. I could see the Lightning pulling off a rare road victory in these playoffs because of that, discrepancy. Francouz or Kemper. You know what I mean? Who should be in net for? That's always a distraction. We know that full well here in Philadelphia. But bottom line is, fellas, if the Lightning is able to win the cup for a third time, they're going to be the first team in NHL history to battle back down 0-2 to win not only a conference final, but then a cup final. So it's a tall task. But if any team can do it, it's this Tampa Bay Lightning team.
No, absolutely. And if I'm Colorado, I'm putting Kemper right back out there for Game 4. You got to show you got faith in the guy.
Sure.
What's up, Johnny Blade? Welcome to the show, brother.
What's going on? He did go on to say
point,
Tampa.
Though. This is, to Johnny's point, this is a deep Tampa team, and not taking any credit away from this team. I didn't think they were going to get this far with the lineup that they had this year, losing the pieces that they did. I thought that was going to mess up with the chemistry, and it didn't. And they're right back here in the Stanley Cup final again, proving that this team is something special. But again, I also think that you're playing a legit team now. You're not playing a team that got lucky in a bubble situation or a Dallas Stars team that, quite frankly, got hot at the right time. Do I think they deserve to be in the Stanley Cup final that year? No. But they're facing a legit team now. This isn't some team that's just going to lay over and die. This is a team that's going to make adjustments after a loss. This is another team like Tampa Bay, who very rarely loses consecutive games. You know, Colorado won their division for a reason. Tampa Bay finished third in their division, but they also are in one of the more toughest divisions in the NHL. And then they handled the division winner like it was nothing. So this Tampa team is not going to lay over and die either. But they're going to have to figure out a way to respond and win the second game at home. And like you said, Robbie, figure out a way to win a game on the road.
All right. And so we have Pete and a poll come in saying disagree.
What's up, Pete?
And we got Dylan saying, what's going on, guys? Hope all is well. I disagree to the poll. I think Colorado bounces back. Chickpea Pasta King would rather die than lose.
and that's equally possible to happen, tying into the comment what Brian was saying, too. I mean, Colorado did what they needed to do. They won their home games to start off the series. And they're in the drive. I mean, you know, I still feel that they're in the driver's seat, even if Tampa Bay were to win game 4 at home, because that's why they earned home ice advantage. Still now it's a battle of the 3. And 2 being in Denver, you got to like their chances. I'm just saying that I think that the Lightning know they just have that know-how and that advantage in net. And that's how I initially diagnosed the series. I got not a little worried, but maybe a teensy bit worried about Bazzi in those first, certainly in game 2. But if any goal is going to bounce back, talking about coming back from a loss, Matty, Andre Vasilevsky.
Absolutely.
Do it. He's never won. I think he's another one who's never lost consecutive games, right, Matty?
No. Vazzy's the kind of guy who, you know, here's the guy who just, in my opinion, he's the best goalie in the world. You know, there's, in my opinion, no debating it, because 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row, even if you don't win this one, that says a hell of a lot about a goaltender. And on top of it as well, Vazzy has stolen several games in this run already. And that's one of the major key factors into getting Tampa as far as they've gotten. And so, again, it's just like this guy has no off switch. Even if he has a bad game, he'll just rebound. It doesn't matter. He does not turn off. You can stop him temporarily, but then he's just going to come back and break through the next game. That's just how he works. He's a freaking machine. So that's the kind of thing that makes him so deadly when it comes to his ability to carry this team forward and keep them going, to the point where it makes you realize, well, no wonder Tampa's able to win as much as they have and go to 3 straight finals. Like, this should have been predictable at this point. But one thing I will say about Tampa, I think one thing I think that's really helped them and that could wind up helping them in this series, something that I think Colorado may, that's a big maybe. Tampa's had some nasty battles that they've had to get into in this playoff. I mean, their first round opponent was Toronto, and Toronto fought them hard. And yes, you can laugh at Toronto all you want about, Toronto can't win shit. They were never going to win that series. There was talk that this was going to be the year Toronto was finally going to do it. Sure, Toronto. But here's the thing, though. You shouldn't feel bad, because you had every right to assume that. Because it wasn't like Toronto choked like they did 2 years ago or last year against Montreal, or 2 years ago when they could not figure out how to play against Columbus for some reason. They actually put Tampa on the brink and damn near accomplished it. It's just one of those things of Tampa friggin' out-muscled them in Game 7. Vazzy took over and said, yeah, we're not losing. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to try next year again. Sorry. And
they got strategically outmatched. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they lost the series. Tampa has this know-how to get through series. That's to my point. Go on.
Yeah, and to
no, and you're right.
Johnny Blade's point is, that's team depth there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Tampa's good to hit. Like, I'm going to phrase him perfectly because I got his comment still right here. They grind you down.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I think really benefits Tampa in that regard. And then obviously the next round they swept Florida, but the Eastern Conference Finals was not easy. The Rangers came at them with everything they had. Now, to be fair, like we stated before, the Rangers, are they there yet? No. Are they one or two moves away from being there? Yes. But the thing is that the Rangers still fought them really hard, and Tampa really had to dig down deep and kind of wake back up after sweeping their way through Florida. The Rangers were in, hustle mode because they had to fight in a 7-game battle against Carolina. And that happens sometimes when you have a longer series on one end, you have a quick series on the other. One team gets a little too much rest, the other team is ready to go because they just got out of a tough series. Happens. But Tampa rebounded and got the job done. That's the kind of thing that really is an ace in the hole for this team. So that's one thing I think Colorado, I'm not going to say they don't have the ability to do that. I'm just saying that Colorado hasn't faced a team like that, in my opinion, because Colorado swept Nashville easily.
Right.
That wasn't even a series. The next round, they faced St. Louis, and albeit St. Louis tried to push them around, but Colorado said no. And then and
fade now, Maddie. But I think I know where he's getting at. The Colorado swept, their next series, and then they themselves become that team that was resting coming in, where the other team was going, 6 games, not 7, but still a lot, further in proximity to game 1, and they came out, flat at first, had that comeback to win game 1, and then looked fabulous in game 2. But there's a factor there, Maddie, if you're back.
Yeah, am I? Oh, you guys got me? Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think that there's something to be said that, Colorado's also facing a team that they haven't faced in the playoffs either. I think it's both factors. I think Tampa's kind of faced Colorado in a sense. They faced a team like this, but not as complete as Colorado. Colorado is the more complete of the opponents that they had to come up against. And what a time to come up against the most complete. Yeah.
Were you waving at that comment from John?
Of course. Johnny's my boy. That's my dude, man.
Yeah, John's saying.
If I was still up in Jersey.
It's all about the Skinner shirt for me, man. As Annapol will attest to.
If I was still up in Jersey, me and Johnny, man, we'd be hanging out. Me and Johnny be inseparable, man.
And let's see here. We've got.
Dan, you still live in Canada? That's a shame.
And then Pete's saying, you can never count out a team that gets to the finals. And that's true. Colorado has shown that they have intangibles that Tampa cannot handle at times. Game 2, definitely. Can they keep that up for an entire 7-game series is what's left to be seen. I hope it goes to 7. I hope it goes to OT in a Game 7 cup clincher. I hope Colorado pulls it out. Tampa has shown that they can be unstoppable at times as well. Who knows? And then it goes with all.
The deeper the series goes, it does advantage, or it does give the advantage to Colorado, because you're talking about a team that had Braden Point and then quickly lost them. And now you lost a quality bottom 6 guy potentially for games. I don't know. It's tough. We'll talk about Mr. Paul later on in the show. I want to save that a little bit for the OT segment. But I mean, being down now 2 guys, now the depth kind of evens out a little bit between the 2 teams.
I'm kind of thinking the other way here for you, Robbie, to your comment here. I think the longer the series goes, I think the advantage goes to Colorado.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with that. Mm-hmm.
All right, never mind. I misheard what you said.
Yeah, it means that Tampa's down 2 guys. You know what I mean? So it's like, eventually that's going to wear on that bench. You know what I mean? Those shifts are going to have to get a little longer in each game, and that takes a toll, especially if you are getting to Game 7 and having to win one, a tough game on the road in Colorado.
Yeah, and I
one
think
of 2 games.
Oh yeah. I do think the physical aspect of this series is still kind of leaning in Tampa's favor, which I think could absolutely wear down a lot of these more skilled players that Colorado has, because you still got Corey Perry, who can obviously he can still score. He's still a presence on the ice. He's still a distraction. Then you still have Patrick Maroon, who's kind of in that same boat, but still plays more of a physical aspect to, I'm not really thinking of anybody off the top of my head in Colorado that plays physical game outside of some of their defensemen.
Maybe Josh Manson.
Yeah, Josh Manson's had a very physical series, and he's put some guys down, and that's his game though. But you need some more guys on the offensive end too that can lay into the hits in the Maroon, maybe wear him down a little bit, wear down Corey Perry.
It's not just all about the hits. It's about the forechecking and being strong on the puck that way in terms of the physicality. Now, I've been impressed with Colorado. They've gotten better at that because that's been their Achilles heel and why they've been bounced from playoff series. But they're like hanging. I mean, I still think Tampa is out winning the physical game, but it's closer than I thought it would have been.
Yeah. Amanda has a question.
Okay, Amanda. Please feel free to ask.
By the way, hi Amanda, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Yes, welcome. And Dylan's saying, by the way, hey Anthony, what's going on, man?
Yeah. And Kucherov too. That's going to be another important thing. He was not on the bench seen in the last minutes of the game. That's going to be a story to follow for Game 4.
Yeah, and Dylan is saying if Kucherov and Point stay hurt for Tampa, it evens out with Kadri, Burakovsky, and Girard being hurt for Colorado. So both teams are dinged up. It's not that one team's dinged up and the other's not. But Kucherov and Point, nothing against Burakovsky because he's had a good playoff, and nothing against Kadri either. But Kucherov and Point are essential players in a lot of ways for Tampa, and losing those guys that's a really tough loss to come back from. Whereas Colorado, you lose Kadri, Burakovsky, Girard. Yeah, those are tough, but you still have McKinnon, you still have Landeskog, you still have Makar, you still have several players that can come in and say, okay, we'll fill that spot, we'll fill that hole. I'm not saying Tampa doesn't have those guys either, but it seems like Kucherov and Point are way more necessary this year than they were, say, last year or the year before that, because essentially there are a lot of players that Tampa doesn't have anymore. I mean, hell, they lost their whole third line, and they lost one player to expansion, a couple of others due to cap. It's kind of one of those things of, I could see why Point and Kucherov might be a little bit more important this go around than they were last time.
Yeah, and to your point here, like the importance of Braden Point's huge, and think about where this team would be if Braden Point was still in the lineup.
I know, right?
I think he's missed the entire playoffs, and this team is still rolling. So, and he's a huge part of the offense. He's a huge part of the power play. He's a huge part of and now you lose Kucherov. I mean, I haven't heard anything on Kucherov, so I don't know how serious it is. But I know missing time for him is huge. But it goes back to what Johnny was saying earlier. This team is deep. And to what this guy wants to bring up later in the show, Nick Paul has stepped up huge for this Tampa Bay team.
Yes, true. Johnny was saying Colorado hasn't hit anybody since Game 1. And then the other John.
My point exactly. But that's my point exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And he says, your expectations with the Flyers hiring John Tortorella. Well, we'll definitely talk about it. He says, I don't like it. I hope he proves me wrong. Going to be odd to see him on the stage at the draft if it isn't virtual. Yeah, we'll definitely be touching base on that in a moment. So Amanda's question is, this is a Phillies question. What is going on with Bryce Harper? He's been dealing with an infection. Do you guys know when he will play again? I will leave that to you guys and you're the baseball experts here.
I mean,
I got a report up. Go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead. No, you got the report. You're good.
Well, he's going to miss another game tonight, which is surprising because they had the day off. You would think that maybe they were resting him up. He received antibiotics, and that's going to go through a process, But he's feeling better after receiving them and hitting the cage today, according to Todd Zlicki of MLB.com. He's expected to be available off the bench tonight, so maybe it's just this one more game, and he'll be back starting a designated hitter tomorrow. But I guess one more day, infected blister. It's not. What's good is it's not the UCL sprain. It's not stemming from there. It's just some weird, fingering incident.
Probably could have phrased that better.
No, I think he phrased it exactly the way he wanted to.
I was gonna say I haven't heard much on it, so I can't imagine that it's anything bad. I apparently like what you were just saying, day to day, hit the cage, see how it feels, and then just going from there. Like I said, I don't see him missing more than a couple games.
And Brad saying, "Hey guys, what's up, Brad?" You check out Brad earlier on in the week with the Sports Hounds.
Monday nights, I believe 7:30. You can catch Brad and Brinkman. I saw a comment from Brinkman earlier.
Yeah, he's one of the first to comment, and I remember what he said. He went on.
Bryce?
What up, Bryce?
What's going on, Bryce? Here, let me see. Where's Brink? Here's Brink.
Yep.
It says Tampa in 7. Colorado is going to have to drive a stake through the heart.
I think they can.
They're trying to.
I think they can.
That Josh Manson hit on Paul was pretty nasty.
Yeah, it was. I loved every second of it, though.
Let's see. Anthony saying, "I'm surprised it is a physical finals. I thought it would be a high-scoring finesse series."
I mean, it's been both.
Yeah. I mean, even though Game 2 was a 7-0 blowout, a lot of finesse went into that 7-0 blowout from Colorado. I mean, hell, the 6-2 game last night for Tampa, there was finesse in that. I mean, obviously, the big highlight of that, you can look at Palat's play. I mean, that was beautiful, the way that was all set up and coordinated. I'm like, yeah, that's a good example of why you can never count out Tampa, because they can pull shit like that out of their ass, right? Just on a whim. You don't even need. It doesn't even matter. They could be down 12-4 or something like that, some ridiculous score. They could still pull a playoff like that for no fucking reason. Like, that's just Tampa. They can do shit like that.
Truth be told.
Yeah. I mean, Dylan down here with his last comment. I can't wait to talk about Tortorella.
Can't wait to see the Ducks versus Flyers, to see Zegras score at Michigan on Hart to piss off Tortorella, since his play is bad for the game.
It's happening.
Blue City Empire Sports saying, breaking news, the 76ers and the Suns are both interesting in getting Rockets' Eric Gordon. So that's news for everyone there in the basketball side of things.
That doesn't wow me, but
yeah, we got Greg. Well, here's something that'll wow you. Greg saying hi. What's up, Greg?
No, what will wow me if he actually says he agrees to something?
Well, let's see here. He says Tampa Bay got punched in the face, and I have responded, so I'll agree to the poll. So there you go. Shit. Now you can be surprised.
Steppy agreed to a poll. Wow. Now I've seen it all.
So let's see here.
I can die a happy man now. All right, I'll see you guys. It's been real.
Anthony saying, personally, John Tortorella will be a rock star. I think he will be popular because of his hard-nosed reputation. Well,
I don't see it.
We'll see. We'll see about that. And Tampa Bay can play multiple styles. That is true, Johnny. They can. And that's definitely one of the major factors of them winning and repeating in recent years. Troy saying, yo, what's up, Troy?
What up, Troy?
And Rosca said that Zegras got robbed of the Calder. That's something you and him can agree on.
Fucking robbed, Rosca.
All right, gents. So now that we have talked about the poll, let's dive into our first period. And the first period sponsor for tonight is, as always, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, if you have a change of career or brokerage, you can contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at the web at alan.foy at exprealty.com. It's always a big move when you're changing homes and moving, so do it right. Go to Alan Foy so it's done properly. All right.
Man, I hope the new place has better internet for you.
Hopefully, right? I'm plugged straight into the freaking modem and everything. Got the Ethernet cord, and it still fucking does this. This is what happens when you have Comcast. Fucking dial-up would be better than this shit.
Come
Jesus.
get BIOS. Come get BIOS. Best move I ever made. But real quick, boys, just before I forget, and I don't want. I'm just not going to get into it too deep. But talking to Mo Sider here in the chat on YouTube, and I did want to offer up my prayers, well wishes to Don Don. I'm not going to get into a situation that's a private matter to address, but my thoughts, my prayers are with you, brother, and I appreciate everyone listening tonight, watching us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube to say a little prayer, especially if you chatted with Don Don here before or whatnot. We all wish you well, buddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. We love you. Your family here. I know we fuck around a lot, bro, but you are family here, dude. You
100%.
are 100% HUD, man, and I see you in the chat in every show, dude. We love you so much. Get better soon, man. For real. We love you. Can't wait to get you back in this chat.
Yeah, our love, our prayers, and our thoughts for you, man. You take care, brother.
Everybody in the chat, let's send some love to Don Don.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's see here. Troy saying, damn, I thought Brian was the optimist here. No.
Not lately. I've been very pessimistic lately.
That's good. That means that my
if
work
you're
is
in
done.
the chat consistently like some people. I'm just kidding, Troy. We love you, brother. Got this Rob Povia guy here. I don't know.
I'm trolling our own show. Sorry.
John saying that would be amazing if Tampa can come back from being down 2-0 in the last two series and were certainly tested by the Leafs. They don't fold. Listen, I'll tell you this, man. If Tampa accomplishes this threepeat and does it this way, there's no debating about this. Tampa is the best team of the 21st century. We stated before, yeah, they're a true dynasty, and they are the best team of this century. The 20th century, okay, we can have a debate then, because then you got to go and compete with the Islanders and the Oilers and such. But this era, oh yeah, Tampa kills it.
John, yeah, to your point, if you just joined us, I said earlier that that would be the first time in NHL history that would go down in a Eastern Conference final, and then the Stanley Cup final being down 2-0.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Be very, very crazy. That pulls it off.
I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, I would be incredibly impressed. But I don't know how
to your early point, Brian, to do it over your strongest test yet in Colorado. The week before, I had said that that's what's that this is a challenge for Tampa Bay because this is, definitely their truest test here in the final.
No, and absolutely. And if you look back on their other three finals appearances, this is their biggest test out of the last three. So, I'm not taking anything away from Tampa. They are an incredible team. But this is their biggest test. Like, they're not playing Dallas again. They're not playing Montreal. They're playing the Colorado Avalanche, who've consistently been at the top of the standings of their not just the conference, but of the league the last 4 or 5 years.
True.
This is a test for them. And if they can come back and tie up this series, going into Game 5, going back on the road, I'm going to be incredibly impressed. And I had the Avs in 6. Maybe I swapped to Tampa in 7. I don't know. It's all going to depend on Game 4 and how Colorado responds to that. I don't want to say beating because it really wasn't a beating last night, but to that response that Tampa Bay had in Game 3. So there's a lot to take in. There's a lot behind Game 4, and I know it's Game 4, but in a basically even series. But this is a huge game for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's still a must-win for them. They're not out of the woods yet. They got to tie the series up.
Serve. You got to hold serve, because if you go down 3-1, going to where Colorado has 2 opportunities to win the cup at home, that's a mighty hill to climb.
Yeah,
I didn't want to use the term "must win" yet, but I think that this is the perfect term for this, because if, like Rob just said, they go down 3-1, going back to Colorado, that puts them in trouble.
That's damn near a death sentence right there. So, Johnny,
they're not playing Vancouver either. When was the last time Vancouver made the playoffs? Actually, it's probably sooner than the Ducks. So I think I'm trying to maybe digging myself in a hole there.
I think it's 2018. Was it
2018?
Damn it! No, I'm way off. It's 2020 because they went on that run and they beat St. Louis in the first round after getting out of the qualifier.
I tried.
Dan's just tickled pink over them getting Andre Kuzmenko.
Pretty much.
Big prime signing from the KHL. So he's riding that hot horse right now.
Yeah,
he is.
But that doesn't always translate to the dude's going to be good in the NHL. I mean, how many times have you seen it?
Listen, guys. Listen. As probably as I stated before, the one thing you do to lure away somebody from the KHL is Ferrari and hookers. It's easy to do. And that's what Vancouver has probably provided him. They probably provided him Vancouver's finest escorts. And on top of it, provided some of the best Ferraris money can buy from Vancouver. Just saying. It's the only way to lure somebody away. I mean, that's what Minnesota probably did with Kyrell. Just saying.
So when we say their best escorts in Vancouver, we're talking like America's like C-, D+ rated.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about the quality. I'm just saying they went and found the best they could find in the city.
I'm saying their best is like our worst.
I
don't know. When it comes to prostitution, Canada does it right. That's all I'm saying.
There it is.
I would give the leg up on Montreal a little better, but I can't speak to Vancouver. I went out to Vancouver for the Winter Games in 2010. But it was a little too cold to be shagging. You know what I mean?
Like that would warm you up.
True. Yeah. That's what I just blamed it on, because that's what it was.
Dan's like, Ferraris, we land of the Lambos.
Land of the Lambos, baby.
Land of the Lambos. So the fake wannabe Ferraris that just don't live up.
Anthony saying Bo was right. Canada is the best.
No lies on the happy hour. No lies.
That's great. I love it.
John's comment too. Minnesota escorts sound like they have bushes.
And I'm here for it.
Dude.
And I'm here for it.
Gotta keep warm in the tundra.
Keep warm somehow. It's cold in Minnesota. It gets cold in Minnesota fast.
It does.
I'll use my lawnmower on them. I'll keep her trim.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, good old Manscaped.
Manscaped, yes.
Get that lawnmower 4.0. Just give it a little trim when you get ready. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sharing is caring, right?
Yes. Junk funk goes both ways. You don't want it.
Hit it.
Manscaped's kind of like that plug.
Yeah.
Use that promo code. Get 20% off plus free shipping.
Absolutely. That's what I call a cheap pop. Bang, bang.
Right. That's what we do.
I like that's a bowl. I mean, I like your style, Jimmy, and I would love to see it too. Jimmy Teres from Flyers Extreme Group, awesome group on Facebook. Go check him out, especially if you're a Flyers fan. I think maybe the only Jimmy lets all hockey fans in his group. It's a great group,
I mean,
very simpatico.
You let me in.
So that means anybody.
Right? Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
Yeah, but you got to say, I mean, Flyers are like your second team. You know what I mean? Like it's like Ducks are your team, but like the Flyers are are like to Matty Sharks for you.
Sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think that fits.
So you're part of the area, absolutely.
Of course. Of course, I've been doing this show for 7 years, so yeah, they do grow on you.
And you also
It's been that long.
you've been on a flyer centric show for 7 years. I think it's earned you some flyer street cred, for God's sakes.
Yeah, right. The Flyers are like a bad fungus. And it happens to grow on you.
And
the
just
fan base, however, is like the antidote, and they just make you want to repel.
when...
Anyway.
Oh man,
What's up, Kev? Doing all right, pal. How you doing?
what's up, Kev? But yeah, like you were saying there, Rob. Hey, Rob. Yeah, Avs too good of a team. They bounced back Game 4 and claimed the cup in Game 5. So he's pretty much got the Avs taking care of business pretty much, even if they lost, yesterday. It's no big deal.
Hiccup in the road, and it's plausible. I mean, both these teams are fucking good.
That's true.
I mean, it's night and day watching this, and it's like opposed to the slop that we have to watch in Philadelphia. Night and fucking day.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah,
I have
that's
the same
tough.
problem right now.
Yeah, but you guys were playing at an elite level at least the first 20, 30 games of the season, maybe even 40 games.
It was even more than that. Yeah, it was about the first half of the year, and
First half of the year,
yeah, and they were feeding into it for a while, and then I'm not exactly sure what happened, but
depth got to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, 82
for
is
sure.
a long season for hockey.
Inexperience, and a lot of growing pains, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like the second half of the season was kind of sloppy, and then Getzlaf announces his retirement and all that, and his retirement game, he just gets absolutely just mollywopped in that game. But at least he got a point in his last game of his career.
I think Rob was reacting to Anthony's comment right here.
Yes, that's what I was.
Anthony's saying, I was in Wildwood, New Jersey. The escorts want the money, but they don't want to get W for the win because they are so used to being like the Coyotes always losing.
Comment of the night right there.
Oh my God.
And then John's comment up here was funny too. He's like, I swear the pool was cold. Excuse for shagging in Vancouver.
That's your everyday excuse, even in the summer. It's, the pool was cold. No, you're just...
It was shrinkage.
Fine. It's fine.
It was shrinkage.
I was in the pool.
Listen, it is what it is if you're pushing a rope. It is what it is. So... Kevin's saying, so do you guys think Tampa Bay has it in the bag again for the Stanley Cup? Well, I'm not backing away from them now. I've been keeping on that bandwagon, so I'm staying on it. Yes, they're in the process of making a comeback. I think I did this last week where I had it where Tampa would win both games at home. They would then win in Denver. Colorado would then return fire in Tampa and win and push Game 7, and then they would win in Game 7 because Vazzy would just take over and do his thing in an elimination game. I think that's how I did it last week, but I'll be honest, I don't remember the show last week.
I don't think you broke it down that far. You did go Tampa in 7. I went Tampa in 6 that they were winning, that final home game after winning maybe Game 5. We'd know what the series would be. That's what would have to go down now in order for that to come to fruition. But I just figured you had it where each team was winning its home games. You know what I mean? And then maybe finally Tampa. But Tampa has to eventually win one in Denver. You have it happening in Game 5, and then you have Denver returning the favor in Game 6. That's interesting.
Because I think I think like Tampa, if they get going and they win Game 4 tomorrow, they could conceivably carry momentum with them into Denver. And even though Colorado would fight them hard, great performance from Vazzy and a great effort from the team, they could wind up winning that game, put Colorado on the razor's edge, and Colorado has to show their resiliency and hopefully have no shrinkage, like Johnny says, and be able to respond the way they need to respond and tie the series back up. And then it's anybody's game right there in Game 7. That would be fun, in my opinion.
It'd be very fun, but I mean, it just goes to show how many different ways the series could go. So I don't think either team has anything in the bag.
No, I don't think so.
Not even close. This series has been so back and forth. so early on. I mean, obviously, game 2 aside, that was just pure domination from Colorado. But this series has been relatively back and forth, and like I said, game 4 is going to be pivotal, going either way. Colorado's either going to end up 3-1, or the series is going to be tied, and we got a best of 3 for the Stanley Cup.
Sure.
So this is a very pivotal game for both teams moving forward here.
Absolutely.
It's all going to depend on how teams respond. Is Tampa Bay going to respond after that win, or is Colorado going to respond after a loss? You know, I know it sounds like like a super vanilla statement to make, but it is because it's going to completely swing the momentum going into game 5.
That's true. As Anthony says, I feel bad for the Devils because they suck and their escorts suck. Okay? Ragging on New Jersey, which, I mean, to be fair, I rag on New Jersey all the time because I live in New Jersey. But
it's New Jersey.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. Well, let's see here. John saying, yeah, I'm 6'7", growing out of the shower. That's why Manscaped is a must.
I feel you on that, man. I'm 5'11". I'm just short of 6. And I'm in the same boat. Wow, why did I sound super southern there?
Well, hey, it's your home now. It's growing on you. You're becoming a southerner. Soon you'll be going to those NASCAR rallies. It's only a matter of time. That NASCAR is going to slowly take over. It's going to happen.
Ain't no NASCAR on my side. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, man. And the Jersey strippers need Manscaped.
I'm in places I go, dude.
Oh. All right, guys. So
Shit's smooth as silk.
I will say though, the girls down here in the strip clubs have much more natural look than the girls up there. Not saying that there's some really good looking girls up there. Don't get it twisted. But the one place that I go, I'm due for a visit. Let's just put it to you that way.
Are they buxom or curvaceous, bodacious? What are we talking here?
It's a good mixture. It's a good mixture.
Good mixture? Oh,
Good
okay.
Yeah, I went to a club when I was in Myrtle Beach, man. Definitely the Carolinas do it right.
Damn right.
Damn right, son.
Here's the best part, and then we'll get back into hockey. Here's the best part, and then we'll get back into hockey. We'll talk about strip clubs another time.
Maybe.
All the girls are just much more chill down here. They are. You go up north, you go to a place in Philly, they swarm you. They swarm you. Want to dance, want to dance, want to dance, want to dance, want to dance. These girls back here, they'll actually sit there and I'll have a conversation with you for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then at the end of the conversation, they'll be like, "Do you want to go in the back?" Yeah, I had this one girl on the line, and at the end she's like, "You want to go in the back?" I'm like, "Not really." She's like, "What?" I'm like, I want to go in the back. I'm kind of just trying to relax and have a good time. She's like, "That's cool and all, and I respect that, but you had me over here for a half hour." I don't know what to tell
wait a
you.
minute. So if you have one of the strippers there for about an hour, then she automatically thinks that you're going to go to the back with her. Okay, that's intriguing.
Well, that's what they think they're doing. Is
Yeah,
they're
make the
trying
time
to sell
worth their
themselves.
while. At least they're giving you some time.
Right? And I feel bad. I'm like, I kind of feel bad. Like, I didn't mean to rope you into a conversation for half an hour, but it's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to relax, have a good time. I'm here with my boy. We're trying to watch the game and have a couple brews. Yes,
Okay.
Troy. I just want to talk.
He's laughing his ass off about that one.
I just want to have a conversation with somebody. That's all.
Meanwhile, Kev's over here just like, what the fuck am I listening to right now?
And then hockey happy hour, brother.
Pretty much.
I haven't tuned in a while, but what you
Hi,
doing?
Swoopy. You came in at the worst time.
What up, dude?
We're the best, depending on your perspective.
Yes, true. We're just talking about the things that we normally talk about here. We don't really talk about hockey here. We just talk about strippers and shit like that. That's just
This is a little prelude to what's going to go down during the off season. Maybe we'll play a little fuck, marry, kill. We'll have some fun. We'll talk some movies.
Yeah. We're gonna have ourselves a party in the off seaon. After the season we had, after the season we just had to witness from the fucking Flyers, and then watching a playoff that, almost saw the Rangers win a cup. I think we could do with a good party, don't you think?
Yeah, Trey, it wasn't her happy hour.
Well done, Troy. Well done, my man.
Good conversation. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Kev. We appreciate that, brother.
I had one buddy who's like, "Are you rejecting me?" He's like, "No, I'm not rejecting you at all. Not at all. I'm just saying come back later." She's like, "You're rejecting me." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Just come back later." She managed to sucker him into going to the back, though. Not me. I stood strong.
Well, what you're proud of that. Okay, so we now know what you have to do to get Bri. So, ladies, if you want Bri, don't be a stripper. That's basically the
But the problem is, here's the problem. It's actually it's not really a problem. It's more the hard part. It's actually get the girl to like me. And I'm expecting some comments from Dan any minute now. Probably because you're a Ducks fan. Eh? I got problems. What's going on in my life?
Brian was this during November.
It may or may not have been 2 weeks ago.
Boy, you got summer started early.
Listen, summer started down here like 2 months ago. What are you talking about?
That's a good point.
Today may be the official start of summer. Which, by the way, happy summer, everybody. Summer down here started like 2 months ago. You're already hitting the mid to upper 90s and 100s already. So let's stop that.
So let's see. John's saying, I have some ugly buddies in Carolina, Brian. You aren't bad looking, my friend. And all of my ugly buddies have attractive girlfriends. You should be scoring goals like Paul Correa in his prime.
I should be, but for some reason I'm not. I don't know.
To be fair, you're a busy man. I mean, you've got your one job, and then you've got the Bulls. Bro, you're a busy dude. So
I got time. I mean, it's only going to take like 5 minutes. They ain't got like 5 minutes to spare in their schedule.
I mean,
I can go 6.
Man, the 6 to midnight? Okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I can go 6 minutes. You're lucky if they can get 3. All right, we need to get back to hockey.
All right, so we'll move on from the 3-minute maker on to the
best 3 damn minutes of their life. I guarantee you that.
Meanwhile, Swoopy's saying, will the Flyers begin making moves to make sure every player fits towards style, trades, free agency, draft, etc.? Also, the coaches that come in. All right, well, I think that this is a good time to change period. So we'll change to the second period. Second period sponsor, All Campus down in Ocean City, New Jersey. The one and only John Coyle, who also does the Rant booth. Definitely a shop worth checking out if you're ever heading down to the shore in Ocean City. They're giving 20% off of everything in their store, including hats, shirts, to all of the A2D subscribers. So get subscribed up, head on down to Ocean City, and get your team colors, man. And John's a great guy. Check out his shop.
Oh, and by the way, if you're not an ATG member, why not? It's only $9.99 a month, and you get all kinds of perks to go with it. You get appearances on shows, members-only streams, shout-outs. Jump on with us. Jump on and debate with us. Troy, if you're an ATG member, you can hop on here and we can talk face-to-face on what takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it get sports picks from Money Pot Podcast? That's Nate Money Moss. He'll get you some money. Willie Vegas, you can catch on ATG Radio. He does put up weekend picks every once in a while on our Facebook page and Instagram. So you can always hit that subscribe and hit that like over there. And, they'll win you some money. I mean, it takes money to make money, right? It's
True.
$9.99 a month.
And with that,
$9.99 a month. Let's stop it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's easy.
Work it up. Let's
Pocket
go.
change. Change.
And then Troy, jump on here. We'll talk about what takes 5 minutes. This is
And
take
then-
about 5 minutes for me to explain it to you.
So let me say this. I think next week's poll question, it's going to have to be what takes longer to finish, warming up a breakfast burrito or Brian. And we'll see what the debate is on that one.
I don't know. I can tell you what. Actually, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go there. Let's talk about John Tortorella.
Oh my
Let's get back
God.
to John Tortorella here.
All right. Let's talk about it. All right, where's Swoopy's comment? Here it is. Okay. So Swoopy's comment: will the Flyers begin making moves and make sure every player fits the Tort style? Trades, free agency, draft, and etc. Also, the coaches that come in. All right, so let's get started. John Tortorella hired as the coach of the Philadelphia Flyers on a 4-year deal. Personally, I think that we'll only see 2 of those 4 years. But John's reputation, Torts' reputation, is quite a colorful one. He has been multiple times gone and lost his temper, more than a few times. And he's also gotten himself right into the crosshairs of controversy on more than a few occasions. Now, he has had his successes. He won the 2004 Stanley Cup with Tampa Bay, but that was back in 2004. Then he also proceeded to be the coach for the New York Rangers, and while he had very, very good success at times, I mean, the Rangers were a number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if that was the year they won their President's Trophy. I think that might have been under Vigneault, but they were a number 1 seed in 2012, and he was still the coach of them at that time. They did not get to the finals that year. They got to the finals 2 years later under Vigneault. But he has had success with the Rangers, and he's had some success with the Blue Jackets, managing to coach them to their first ever playoff series victory against the Tampa Bay Lightning when they surprisingly swept them, which, by the way, we can actually thank John Tortorella and the Blue Jackets for the Tampa Bay dynasty that we are now currently with. So there you go. All because Columbus swept them that year. And then he wound up eventually blowing up, going sideways, and he got fired, which is the normal way for Torts to say goodbye. Oh, I forgot to mention, made a pit stop in Vancouver, and they were one of the worst teams in the league, and that's why that experiment lasted only 1 season.
Well,
So
I thought he was in Vancouver for a little bit.
yeah, he was for about a year, and they were terrible, and then they got rid of him. So, gentlemen, how do you feel about this? Because I think I've made my voice has been very much heard on the subject. How do you guys feel about this?
Go ahead, Robbie.
I hate to fucking do it, but I'm in full agreement with something Matthew Barnaby said.
That is pretty shocking.
A player that played underneath Tortorella, mind you, right?
Yeah.
And this is just a fast forward to my hot take of the week because I'm ripping off his. Because I agree with him full-heartedly. There's about 6 coaches I would have hired before Torts. And this is a former player or whatnot. And he even went on to say, like, a bunch of players are probably contacting their agents to get the fuck out of Philly because he comes with this reputation. Now, his system does pride itself on focusing on defense first, accountability on the ice, on and off the ice, and discipline, which are 3 areas that could really benefit the Flyers, but in a much more win-now mode. And I don't know if that a la Mike Keenan type of coaching style could work again in any city, let alone Philadelphia, and that's what he kind of brings. Now, does it bring that mojo and that discipline and that accountability and defensive style and make this a better team? There's a possibility, right? But in my eyes, the brashness, not only with his players, but with the media as well. You said it perfectly, Maddie, before. 4-year deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be surprised if he makes 2 of them. And the only thing that's going to happen is that maybe if some of those areas help improve this team, what my hope is that when he's getting replaced, he's being replaced with the next guy that's bringing this team to the Cup Finals, to where this team improved to a point. They've gotten their young pups in. They've drafted some more, building on development a little bit or what have you. But I have my doubts on whether that's going to happen even in a 4-year period if he does make it, just because of, is he going to be right for the players on this team? And I just don't see it. And to Brian and to Swoopy's comment, I do expect to see more of a turnover than I was expecting with this roster. And I have a funny feeling I'm not going to like some moves.
By the way, what's up, Tom?
What up, Tommy?
Hey. So I hate the signing. I don't hate the man. I actually like Tortorella as a coach. However, I don't think he's the right fit for what this team needs right now.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be what everybody expects him to be. I don't think he's going to be that fired up guy anymore, because he seems to have mellowed out a little bit. Being behind the desk for being a broadcast analyst for NHL Network or TNT or whoever he's an analyst for. I don't remember who he works for right now, but he's kind of mellowed out a little bit. I don't think you're going to get that same fire from John Tortorella. I think people love this for the entertainment factor. I think they're going to love it because they think he's going to go off on media personnel. I heard when I was up in Jersey over the weekend, everybody's so stoked to have Howard Eskin and John Tortorella going at blah, blah, blah. I don't think you're going to see that from him. I don't think he's the same coach that he was.
Hope so.
One of the big things that I don't think is going to work well for John Tortorella is him and the young talent. I don't think he's a good developer of young talent.
Agreed.
Especially when he goes off to say things like it doesn't work well for the game or it doesn't look good for the game, when referring to probably one of the best rookies to come out in the last few years and do the amazing things that he's done that nobody else has tried. And you're going to sit there and you're going to say that it's not good for the game? What's going to happen if say, somebody on the Flyers tries that? What's he going to do, bench him? Right. For figuring out a way to be creative to score a goal?
Which, to be fair, was one of the biggest problems the Flyers had last year, was finding offense.
And I get it. If this was a team that was ready to win now, I could see this being more of a fit. Like I said, I don't hate John Tortorella. I don't like this signing right now.
Right. It reflects where Chuck Fletcher's head is, because he came out with that quote that A2D posted about bringing this winning culture. He's won a cup, yada yada. Like a guy that could turn it around right now on a dime. And is that really the message you want to be telling your fan base right now? Because it's fraudulent.
But what's fraudulent to me, Rob, is all the people that are out there right now saying that this is what this team needed, but all these people were claiming for a rebuild. This isn't the coach for a rebuild.
No, this is not.
This is a coach that's going to say, hey, we're going to retool maybe a year. We'll make some moves. We'll get some better players in here. Maybe we'll bring up some young guys, and then we're going to try and compete.
This said this.
Needs.
Yes, and we said this 2 weeks ago when Barry Trotz, the possibility of him coming to the Flyers. I didn't want Barry Trotz, and I didn't want Tortorella, because they were win-now coaches. I wanted a coach that was going to develop the young talent. I didn't want any one of these guys.
If you were going to go this way, go get Trotz then. If you were going to go this way. That's a great point, man. I mean, I get wanting neither of them and wanting to go a different direction, but I dig it.
Better choice.
Yeah, no, and Trotz didn't even want to be here. We offered him to be the highest paid coach in NHL history, and he still said no.
Oh, there you go.
What does that? No. What does that tell you about the organization?
That's like I love the fact that John Tortorella said that he's always wanted to coach the Flyers. I love it. Like I think that's great, and I think that's gonna help create a culture in the locker room. But I don't think it's the right culture, the right mindset that you need to have right now.
John Tortorella has always wanted to coach the Flyers of old. This is not the Flyers he wants to coach. That's the thing that we have to keep in mind, though, when he said that. It's like, yeah, he wanted to coach the Flyers. He wanted to coach a Flyers team that was tough, rugged, and ready to win now. That's the type of team he wanted to coach. We don't have that team. We know for a fact we don't have that team. And the other problem that I have with this is an example, and it's not just Tortorella. You know what this tells you? This tells you everything that we've been saying about this organization spinning its fucking wheels, completely directionless and leadless, with no idea how to solve the problem. Chuck Fletcher's scared to death he's going to lose his job, making a big splash to try and keep his job. All of that shit is 110% fact. It is true.
I don't think this is necessarily a big splash, though.
I mean, it's a big splash because of the name. It's the name. That's what I mean by that. Not necessarily what he'll bring to the team. More of the fact that, I hired John Tortorella, so I'm doing something. No, Fletch, you're not doing shit. All you're doing is spinning your fucking wheels and not solving the problem. You're trying to do a quick fix on a team that needs actual time to get better. Right. And you're not giving them that time.
There's pros to having John Tortorella here, and I'm not saying that there's not, because there is. Defensively, they're going to be a better team next year, and they need to be, especially for Carter Hart. But I don't like what this is going to mean for the offense and some of these younger guys, because these young kids are coming in here trying to change the game. He's too old school for this. He's going to try and play. That's why Columbus's offenses never really took off. Like when the Rangers did and Tampa did in 2004, and Vancouver's just Vancouver. But John Tortorella's offenses, they never flourish because it's changing. The league is not what it once was offensively. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to be creative. You got to have guys who are fast. You got to have guys who are slick mitts. Flyers have some players like that. But I just don't think he's a good fit for what this league is anymore. That's my biggest con with him. His offense is not going to fit the play scheme. It's not going to fit the players. It doesn't matter who you go out and get. I mean, like I said, one of the hottest rookies in the league, he said it's not good for the game. What do you mean it's not good for the game? You're an old school mentality. You're an old school mentality. And now I'm hearing from the fan base all over Facebook that this is going to be great for the team. It's going to bring back the old bullies. You know,
no, it is not.
He holds his players accountable, which is great. That's another pro to having John Tortorella.
Fine, but at the same time,
this team is never going to have a true identity if you have a head coach who's stuck in the old school mentality when the game is still evolving.
Yes, and here's the other problem. The other issue that I have with this, too, is that, this will not bring back the old bullies because the old bullies can never be brought back. That's the other problem I have with people who say, well, this will bring back the bullies. Stop it. The bullies are never going to be duplicated. That's just not how it works. The Legion of Doom did not duplicate the bullies. They were their own thing. The 80s teams were not the bullies. They did their own thing. The early 2000s did their own thing. This team has never recreated the bullies. They've always had teams that were different in their own way. In the 80s, the Flyers had depth and skill along with the toughness, and that's what helped them fight through many of their playoff battles. They might have been a little touch undisciplined at times, but then again, there were a lot of teams like that in the 80s, and you can get away with more. In the 90s, the Legion of Doom was a dominant force because they had the big physical bodies that could also score, and that was a devastating combination. Because you had a player like Eric Lindros who was a big guy, but he could score. You had John LeClaire, who was turned into a top goal scorer because of being on that line. Michael Renberg was good depth. Then you had Rod Brindamore, and you had many other great players that the team had at the time. In the early 2000s, you put a lot of veteran teams together to make a run for the Cup. All of those things were not recreating the bullies. They were their own thing, and that's what got the job done. This team needs to figure out what it is. And the problem is that if you keep trying to bring back the bullies, you are never going to figure out what this team has to be. This team needs to figure out what it is, and you need a coach that's going to help form that identity and bring out the best in their players. Do you think Torts is going to bring out the best in these guys? Are you sure about that? Because that's what really needs to happen here on this team. I mean, and that's not what I think we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of bullshit real fast, and we're going to figure out, oh my God, I can't believe Torts was this bad. It's like, we told you! We fucking warned you all fucking offseason how stupid of a decision this was.
Well, to Betty's...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian. No, wrap up the point because I'm segueing somewhere else.
All right. I'm not saying that it's a wrong decision. I think this is just not the decision they need to make right now. They needed to what was Benny saying there? Because I think there was something I wanted to touch on.
He said, to be fair, who else you bring in? I don't have an issue with Torts. If he sets the standard for how the team develops going forward, I'm fine with the move.
I got you, Robbie, because I think I'm gonna leave into this comment that I think you want to jump into anyway. There's two other guys that I wanted and that I think are more perfect for the situation that they're in right now. This isn't a win now situation for this team. You know, you have to figure to Ryan's point. I saw it somewhere on the comment side here. They have no identity. They don't. So what do? You bring in a coach who can, one, hold his players accountable, two, help the team grow, and three, work well with the younger players. There's a few guys out there that I would have taken over John Tortorella. And you guys know, and I'm sure most of you, Johnny Blade, you probably don't know. Peter earlier, if you're still tuning in, you probably don't know. I want a Paul Maurice or I want a Claude Julien to head coach the Philadelphia Flyers because I think both of those coaches in the situation that the Flyers are in would be a perfect fit because they work well with young talent. They are still the type of coach to hold these players accountable, but they work well with young talent. They're perfect for the situation that they're in. And they can help this team take the next step forward and be a competitive team because they know what it takes to win. Did Paul Maurice win a cup? No, unfortunately not. Do I blame that all on him? No. The Jets team was still kind of rebuilding for a while they had him. Claude Julien won a cup with a fairly young Boston Bruins team. A very young Boston Bruins team. Patrice Bergeron at the beginning of his career. Tyler Seguin at the beginning of his career. Brad Marchand at the beginning of his career. You know, that was a very good team. And he helped build that team and put them in the situation they were in. Winnipeg, Paul Maurice got the best out of one of the players that just flatlined after he left, and that's Patrick Laine. He was the only coach to get the best out of him, so I know he can get the best out of some of these younger players. I know he can get TK to take that next step to get back to where he was at the beginning of his career. Whew.
Preach, brother.
Dizzy.
Preach.
Whoa.
Preach, because I like what you're saying. I think that's what I wanted to ask is if we're going to be critical towards what would have been the suggestion to Benny's earlier comment, you know, who should they have gone after? Now, I think out of your two suggestions, which I was high on them too, right? I believe Claude Julien came out and said he wasn't interested in the job or any coaching job. Like he was like still minding his health, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think I read that somewhere. I'm not 100% on that. So that took him off my list for me. But Paul Maurice is a good one of two ways to go. That's your transitional guy, the guy that's going to coach this team to be the best winning itself that it can be during a transitional rebuild period. He knows how to put teams together. We saw the team that he put together there in Winnipeg that got pretty damn good, right? And then, and to my earlier point where you have that guy to where towards the end of his tenure, you bring in the next guy that's going to lead this team to the cup. You know what I mean? Now that the players are developed, if they're not having success under Paul Maurice himself at that point, that's one way to go. Another way to go, and I think Swoopy would maybe not agree with the guy I'm going to mention, but at least with the concept, is you hire the coach that you want to coach this team for the next 15 years. Right, that's going to grow with the team, that's going to learn with the team, that's still young enough to grow with the team, that has a good reputation in Philadelphia, that's a former player that I know you're going to hate on me for, but that's why you brought in and you interviewed Rick Tocchet. Why didn't you extend him an offer and make that transition where this is the guy you're going to go with, and we're going to go through our talent pool here and what guys fit your system exactly to a T. To Swoopy's point, crack some other eggs and make some trades, whether that be with picks or young prospects, to mold the team into what you want to be for the future. That's not a Band-Aid. That's life support. And that's giving the body of Philadelphia Flyers hockey what it needs to thrive and finally get back to where it was. And that's a perennial playoff team.
Yeah. I got you on that one, Rob.
And people are gun shy about bringing in the former Flyers, and they say, "Oh, well, he didn't have a too good of a time out there in Arizona." You forget sometimes a manager has to go through his levels of training, so to speak. And I like taking a shot on guys that maybe had a failed experience here and there and has grown from it, right? And especially going to a familiar area where you're at home, and you're comfortable. Right. I mean, maybe it's sometime living in the area, but he knows Philadelphia or whatever. I just feel that in terms of rearing, a kid like TK, you know what I mean? Both Paul Maurice or Rick Tocchet would be great for that. Not John Tortorella.
And to be fair, I mean, with Tocchet, I mean, he was coaching the Coyotes. I'm going to say that again. Like, Coyotes are not exactly the greatest team in the world. And so if you can get anything out of them, that's actually a good thing. But
hey, I know you don't know much about baseball, Matty, but I'm sure you know Tony La Russa was a pretty damn good manager, especially when he was managing the St. Louis Cardinals there for a long stretch, right? But a lot of people forget that he started off with the team that he's currently managing now, and that's the White Sox. And he was a pretty shitty manager then, and ironically a pretty shitty manager now. But in between, he was really good. and I'm just saying that, sometimes you don't have the roster, you know what I mean? You don't have the money behind and the ownership. Obviously, they're playing in a college stadium this year.
Yeah. So Anthony's saying, I blame the front office for keep changing coaches because the Flyers had every good coach and they keep changing coaches every 2 to 4 years to develop players and then trade the good players away, or players get unhappy and don't want to be happy. And that's, again, talking about the organization, the kind of shitty organization we've been saddled with for how long. Ready for the paragraph? Because here it comes. So we said, need to stop bringing in coaches and not making the roster moves that fit the coaching and system. That's been their issue, not fitting the players with the coaches. They expect it to work when the players don't have the skills and the abilities that naturally allows them to play the coach's style with ease. That's why coaches can only do so much. Make every move and addition be in line that fits the coach's style. Intend to make every move to be stat fits the style of the coach. And that's sound advice there, Swoop. Here's the problem. Mm-hmm. That would require patience and that would require time. And this organization refuses to do either. They refuse to wait. They refuse to build. They refuse to take the time necessary to really evaluate the team. And they refuse to find a coach that could weld it all together. They refuse to do that because they want to win a Stanley Cup, because they feel like that's the mentality you still have to have. No. This organization needs to get out of that win now mindset because it is killing this franchise to the point where going into this season, I expect some of the worst play I've seen in years from the Flyers. I'm not expecting anything great out of them, period. Maybe at best, one of the vets shows up a little bit and gets the captaincy. That's at best. Maybe if we're lucky, Hart has some good games and steals some. Maybe at best. But at this point in time, I don't expect much from this team. I actually expect the worst from them. Not only because do I feel like Torts is not going to be the coach to make this gel, also because this organization hasn't done anything to fix the problem in terms of developing these players, in terms of figuring out what they truly need to do to move them along and get them to progress, or to get players that have fallen apart to get them back to that level of confidence that they once had. To the point where It's like, well, you might as well trade off TK because he's never going to get better here in Philadelphia. Let him go to a team that can actually make him feel confident again in himself. Send his ass off somewhere else.
That's going to be one of Tortorella's eggs to crack for sure, because you just know that you can see that a mile away that that's not going to work.
I see more of that with Provy than I do TK.
Nah, I don't disagree.
But the point is like you trade those guys off, watch them finally develop and turn things around and get better. It's like, almost like that team had a structure set up properly, and almost like what Swoopy was saying, they had the coach to fit the system and the players, and almost like that coach knows how to handle his players properly because he knows his players in that locker room.
Patty, I mean,
interesting.
If Torts wants to build around Coots, Farabee, and Cam, a former player that's been favorable of his hiring, right? And like I said, make it a good defensive 200-foot game type team and get bigger around them, I may not mind losing a TK because that's what this team needs is more size. You know what I mean? This organization, I should say.
That's fine. I mean, like, if it comes down to the point where it's a necessary evil, okay, that's one thing. But if it's like, okay, he could have been fixed, but the team didn't fix him because of their own stupidity, that's where I have the problem. Because we've seen it happen. We have seen it happen where teams have failed to make a player get the best out of him due to their own foolishness. And then they go somewhere else and they turn into a superstar. It's like, almost like that organization knows what the fuck it's doing. Maybe that's why they're consistently competitive.
Real quick, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, Matty, but here's the thing. You don't necessarily need to get players that fit a system. You don't need to get, you don't need to do all that because you're going to be wasting a lot of people's time at that, and you're going to be pissing off a lot of people that way. You need to get all 18 skaters on the ice. All 18 skaters on the ice to buy into the system. The problem is not every player is going to buy into the system. It's not necessarily the system that they like or don't like. Sometimes it's the coach. And I think we saw that with AV. And I think we saw that even more with Mike Yao. But I don't necessarily think the players are the issue. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I think the players are the issue. I think with AV and Mike Yao, they just never bought into anything that they said. Anything about the system, anything like that. I don't think AV showed the confidence in them. And why would you buy into a system if your coach doesn't show you any confidence? It's like going to work. Are you really going to perform at your best if your boss doesn't have any confidence in you as a line cook or working at Wawa or Rob with his article editing? Would you really want to perform under that? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's about confidence in your players and getting your players to buy into the system. Because not every team in the NHL has 18 guys that fit the system perfectly. All 32 teams, I shouldn't say all 32, we'll say 16. The 16 playoff teams that we saw this year have 18 players that bought into their coach's system. They may not be the best fit for the system, but they bought into it because they know it's how they're going to win hockey games. It's how they know they're going to get to the playoffs. It's how they know they're going to get to a Stanley Cup final. It's how they know they're going to get their name etched on a cup. They know it's buy-in is really what matters. Because if they believe in John Tortorella and John Tortorella believes in them, I'm saying hypothetically here, that's going to cause this team to win hockey games because they bought into it. They believe in what that system is doing for this team to make not just them better, but make the team better. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Not necessarily just the players that fit the system. You can go through, you can go out there and you can draft 18 different players that fit John Tortorella's system perfectly. Who says that team's going to be any good? Who says that they're going to all buy into that system because they're a perfect fit for it? Make sense? It's all about buying into the system. It's not just getting the perfect fit. You have to buy into it too. feel like I've blown a couple minds here, or I'm just a complete idiot. I haven't figured out which one. I'm kind of leaning towards the latter.
What you say is
leaning towards the
profound,
latter.
and I agree. No, what you say is profound, and I agree. I mean, in the end, yeah, you can have the best talent in the world. If they don't buy in the system, what does it mean? And it's like the head coach has got to be the great salesman of the system. You know what I mean? And present. And you know what? If he comes off more mellow, maybe a little more approachable, maybe learning from his past mistakes, hey, anything's possible. You know what I mean? And in the end, in any sport, when my team is looking to hire a new head coach, I look for experience. And he's been there. He's done that. You know what I mean? I just see so many similarities with AV in terms of treating players like robots, though. But maybe it could be different this time. We'll see.
We'll see.
Laviolette was one of the better coaches we've had in a long time, and
agreed.
And then
I wanted Lavi back. I was on the team. I was like, Caps, can you please fire Lavi so we can have him back, please?
Can we trade coaches? Is that a thing? Is this like the NBA? Can we do that?
We signed Torts. We signed Torts, and then we trade him with JVR and TK for
trade Torts right back to Washington.
I don't know if the Caps take that deal. The Caps are trying to squeeze out one more cup with Ovi, although I think that's fool's hope at this point. But anyway, Ted moving on here. He's saying, was listening to a reporter, Provy is the new guy hated in the locker room now. That's pretty much been since last year. And the defense is going to be terrible because we don't know about Ellis. I hope Ellis is healthy this year, because if he ain't healthy this year, then I'm saying, well, you might as well buy his ass out, because what the fuck is the point of wasting salary on him? Completely worthless if that's the case.
Yeah,
Bryce moving on.
I think that I don't think this defense is going to be terrible, because that's John Tortorella's bread and butter is defense. You know what I mean? Columbus has had a lot of success, and they wouldn't have had any success if they didn't have a good defense.
That is a good point. Bryce saying, not to mention we'll probably trade TK, etc. by the deadline.
Everybody's like, TK, pack your bag, bro.
Ryan Swoopy saying, top 8 on offense, but leading in every defensive category as stated above. And
that's a stretch, I think. Top 8 in offense? I think that's a stretch.
Benny's Nation saying, any chance that with Torts being away from the game, being in the media, that he gains a different perspective of how the league is now? Appeared that he acknowledged that to a degree in his presser. Well,
Brian,
maybe.
That's what you were kind of saying a little bit.
Maybe, but there is also an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So, I mean,
the default's going to come in the heart of the, I'm telling you, Yapper. You reminds me of Fonzie, man.
I mean, I really do believe that him and Howard Eskin are going to come to blows at some point this season. If he catches them on the wrong loss, don't be surprised. You're going to be having some people trying to break up a Tortorella Howard Eskin brawl.
And here we thought that season was going to be boring. All right, on to John saying, expectation with Kevin Hayes this season. If he doesn't have a bounce back year, that contract is going to look uglier than we thought. Well, yes, that is definitely true if he does not have a bounce back year. To be fair, even though I've ragged on Hayes multiple times because of that contract, he did look good when he was getting back from his injury. He did actually contribute to the offense, and he was one of the more productive players towards the end of the year. So I can't say that Hayes hasn't started to get his game going again, because it seemed like he was towards the end of the season there. So we'll see what next year holds for it. So I'm up in the air on Hazy right now, because, maybe he will have a real good season next year, because maybe he sees that C and he wants it. Now, hopefully, if he gets that C, he can keep that up. We'll see. But all the same, though, next year, we'll see what we get out of Hayes. It looked like he was getting his game going last year, so hopefully that transitions into this year.
Yeah, I mean,
you're 100% right, Matt. He's just got to be healthy.
Yeah, he's got to be healthy,
His
and
health.
now he's everything that went on with Jimmy. I think all
Yeah.
that stuff combined affected him in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, he started to find his game again. I think Kevin Hayes is going to be fine.
Yeah.
I do, but I agree. If he doesn't have a solid year next year, that contract does not look good.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Ted saying I was 100% right. Thank you, Ted. Torts is supposed to come in and create structure, but this player, TK, he's got to go because he won't fit my system. Isn't he supposed to be creating structure so he fits?
Again, that goes back to Ted buying into a system. It doesn't matter if the player fits to the system or not. If you don't buy into the system, you don't believe what the coach is preaching to you, it doesn't matter if it fits the system or not. You're not going to succeed in it.
Yeah. And it's also up to the coach to find the role. You know what I mean? And be like, look, you play this way. I want you to try this on for size. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, do you? You know what I mean? And adapt that way. Like you come in, you're going to create a system, and you see all your ingredients. Don't you think you'd want to have something that kind of form fits?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of the. I'm just real worried about, is he going to? See, the other thing too is that I'm worried about is Tort's going to have the patience that you're going to need to work with these guys, because here's the thing. While this team had shown signs of being pretty good under AV, it all fell apart after one season, and how long is it going to be before Torts loses his patience with these guys? Because it seems like they make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Now, to be fair, if he's willing to develop that, then okay. But that comes back to the issue of, is he the type of player to develop this team? Is he the guy that can develop this team? I have my concerns on that. I have a lot of concerns on that. And by the way, John said, I am a 17-year veteran stud at my job, and I have a terrible boss, and not the Jennifer Aniston kind.
That's a shame. I've been waiting for a terrible boss like that my entire life. I need a boss like that.
Ted saying, I hope we're the worst team.
Please stop. Don't.
Please stop. No, I do not want this. No. Okay, keep going.
You want to take down my pants?
Okay, we're good. We're good here. We're done here. See?
Let
5
me
minutes.
think. Sure.
Listen, if I had Jennifer Aniston as my boss, what you want to? You have handcuffs. I forgot mine. To the chair. Okay. Here. Let me just Jesus pose.
By the way,
Jesus pose.
By the way, there was something on, I think it was on Twitter, and it was funny as hell. They were showing the interview with Zdeno Chara, and someone pointed out, just like, does anyone realize that Zdeno Chara has a bondage set up on the back of his bed frame? They pointed it out, which I started crying, laughing when I heard that one.
Oh
Good.
My!
Right? Get your George Takei on. Oh my!
So we know what clubs that Chara was visiting when he wasn't playing.
Hey! Tommy Lee had a sex swing. It's cool.
He is European, so
that is true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Big kinky. I'm about it. Do your thing, bro. Like, enjoy yourself. You get one life. You live it to the fullest, but that ain't my thing.
Well, he's got the money to live it to the fullest. I'll tell you that.
That's suggestive. That's suggestive. I know people that don't make a lot of money that still live their life to the fullest. That's all up to your mentality.
Well, that's true, right? Ted's saying,
Yeah, bring up this point, Maddie. I want to address this. Bring up this point here.
I hope we're the worst team, break the curse, and finally get the top pick, Connor Bedard. Well, if my prediction comes true, we will be the worst team in the league. We'll beat out Montreal and the rest of them and take it.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe, just maybe. The Flyer, Chuck Fletcher and the upper brass, their strategy here is let's go out and hire the worst coach possible. So we could be the worst team in the league to get Connor Bedard. Maybe that's the plan.
See,
because you know what? It's the thing that most makes sense to me.
I know, right? There's got to be some reason why. I mean, if this is, I'll believe it if it's a Danny B suggestion. If it's anybody else, then no, they're just being dumb. But
You're right. It was Danny B.
I mean, I'm about Connor Bedard. He's going to be better than Shane Wright.
Yeah.
He's going to be much better than Shane Wright. I think he's going to be a franchise changer. But there's no guarantees. You could be the worst in the league. You could probably wind up with the 4th round pick. There's no guarantees. Yeah. Just get yourself into the top 5. This 2023 draft is going to be killer, even if you don't get Bedard. This is going to be an amazing draft coming up in 2023.
No, we must tank. Bedard or nothing, damn it.
Well, I know you're being facetious, Matty, but there's no guarantee you get the number 1 overall, even if you're the worst team.
That is true. The way that they have it set up now. Let's see here. Anthony's saying the Flyers should have kept Hackstall because he can develop the young players, but the front office keeps fucking things up because they don't have patience, because Clark and Holmgren and other people won't shut up or stay out of the way of everything.
I said it last 100%, Ant.
I said it last week. Hackstall. Travis Konechny had his best season under Hackstall. Couturier, we thought he was a bust. And Hackstall comes into the team, and now we're talking about Couturier being a captain candidate. Like, what more proof do you have right there? This is a guy who was a college coach, and he was developing the younger players for the Flyers. But, as Anthony alluded to, Paul Holmgren, being the rock-stupid bastard that he is, got impatient because, well, we need to compete for a cup now. I'm like, you know what, Holmgren? You know what you can do and what you need to do? You need to go suck a dick and shut the fuck up. That's what you need to fucking do.
Plus, with that same move, Matty, that same move cost this organization Hackstall, who you could have had that guy that you're going to commit the next 10 years to, win, lose, or draw, to develop to be that franchise head coach for your team. But it also cost you Ron Hextall because Ron Hextall refused to fire him.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, we can all... Oh, okay.
That was tough. I've got with the pointing, but that's...
Dude, we've been doing this for Lord knows how long. I still don't know which way to point.
Don't you know that left is right and right is left?
But I always go this way. I need to start pointing away from Maddie so I can actually point to him. I'll never get it. I won't be back in the studio. You guys will be back in the studio before I get this shit straight.
Oh, Benny's Nation. I think this year is less about system and more about a mindset. Well, if they can get into that right mindset, like Brian's saying, then okay. But that's the big question now, isn't it?
Teams adopt their coach's personality. You know what I mean? This team could use a little more play. I mean, they're just, in terms of the non-compete that I saw this year, just the lack of sticking up for other teammates. Like, no fire, you know what I mean? If you can let it fire a little bit, at least that'd be something.
Let that feistiness come in. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, to Benny's comment here, I actually heard a report, I don't know how true it is, that if they didn't find a coach that they all agreed on, that Chuck was going to be out of a job. And apparently they all agreed on Tortorella, and that's what they wanted. And right now, as of right now, Tortorella saved Chuck Fletcher's job. Again, don't know if the report was accurate or not. I don't necessarily know if I believe it, because I only saw the one report on it. I didn't see multiple like I do for most, but I think right now, I think they're giving Chuck 1 year under John Tortorella, and then if they don't improve, that he's.
Well, okay. Then I guess we'll see you later, Chuck. I mean, like, the fucking, Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me see how this organization's logic works. Let's figure this out. So the organization says to Chuck Fletcher, "We need you to find us a coach to turn this shit around in one season, not 2 or 3, one season. And if it doesn't improve, and who knows what their standards of improvement mean, then that means your ass is fired." Then why the fuck don't you just fire him then? Because no one's going to turn the team around in one fucking year. Are you kidding me?
Did.
Like, what?
Rangers did.
Yeah, but they had shit better in place. It's just how that was working for them. They had Shesterkin was ready to go. Zibanejad was ready to go. Kreider decided he was ready to have a career year. Yeah, that whole thing was ready to go. They've been building towards that, and that was their year for it to officially explode. But also, Gerard Gallant obviously is I would say he's a much better coach for the modern game anyway. So that's that too. But
what the
that's
fuck?
the perfect example, though. And what's funny is I think David Quinn was a interviewee for the job here in Philadelphia, but that's what the Rangers did. They spent 2 to 3 seasons, had Dan Quinn take this team from being poor to adequate, and then you get the head coach that puts them over the top in Gerard Gallant. You know what I mean? That's a good recipe for success.
And they've been building towards that. The Flyers haven't even fucking done that. They were just like, you know what? Let's throw AV out there with this all-star cast of coaches, and let's go for it, boys. You know, that's how we're going to get the job done. Like,
right. That's why, I mean, like you hire Paul Maurice, that would be perfect for that role. You know, but I mean we got to deal with the hand that played us. I mean, there's been a lot of, if you wanted to get to around the league, Maddie, there's been a lot of coaching activity that just went down today. In terms of what the other options that were out there, you know.
I know of the one.
Which one's that?
Peter DeBoer going to Dallas?
Yeah, officially hired today as head coach of the Dallas Stars. Jay Woodcroft actually shed the interim label and signed a contract through the 2024-25 season with the Oilers.
Oh, nice. I like that. I actually like that move for the Oilers. I think hopefully like I said 2 weeks ago, you know, they're not far off. They need a goalie. Badly. That's not so they don't have to worry about Koskinen anymore. He signed over. I think he went to the KHL. I think he went to the KHL.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think he signed. He either signed. I want to say it was the KHL that he signed with, or it was one of the Eastern European leagues. But I know he went back to play overseas again. Oh, what the hell?
Dan Bylsma got hired today. Did you hear about that?
Did he catch it?
Who'd he sucker into hiring him?
Yeah, he was hired as the head coach of the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, what pro team did he sucker into hiring? Okay.
Yeah, he went to Coachella. Fucking yeah, that's the Kraken's affiliate. It's their new franchise inaugural season this year. So they hired Dan Bosman.
Did that come with the underline that you get free tickets to the Coachella Music Festival?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that the signing bonus? I'll be honest with you, that wouldn't be a signing bonus for me. But
can't even beat Texas.
Ted saying G's years were being wasted under Haxtell. We won 0 series under Haxtell. He's not leading Seattle anywhere, as the kids say. He's not even mid. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Haxtell was not meant to be the coach that was going to win us a cup. In my opinion, I don't think that was what we hired him for. I think Hexie was hiring him just to develop the young talent. I don't think he gave a shit whether or not we would be a competitive team in terms of winning a cup. And yes, I would agree. Would it be a waste of G's time? Possibly. But at the same time, G, he probably would have been fine with it, in all honesty. G was loyal to the Flyers. Do I think that bit him in the ass? Yes, it did. Probably should have left the team when he had the chance. I mean, unfortunately, he didn't get that opportunity until now. But who knows? He wants to stay in Florida, so Maybe he'll sign back with them from what I've been hearing.
We'll see. I'm hearing other things.
Oh yeah.
I'm hearing Ottawa is very much in on Claude Giroux.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I
maybe
heard as
They
well.
want him.
I think that's going to happen.
Going back
too.
to Florida is not a guarantee.
Well, Ottawa could use the leadership. So, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, for them.
Up-and-coming team, too. They got some talent out there. And, yeah, Claude Giroux is still a great face-off man, good playmaker to set up. Stetzel and freaking Stutzel, I should say, and, Brady Tkachuk and all them up there north of the border. And he's from Ottawa. You know what I mean? It would be apropos that you think that, all right, I think it would have to, it depends on how you evaluate the Senators in terms of being a potential playoff team. You know what I mean? Because it's not like he has many years left,
Yeah, I got you. I mean, we'll see if the Sens want to hire him. I mean, if they do, obviously I would assume they would put an A on him. I don't think they would. They already have a choice for their captain, but I would. Well, wait a minute. No, wait, they don't have a captain, do they? Or wait a minute. Did they give one of the young guys the C?
I don't think so. I think they're one of the teams that are captainless right now. I'll look that up for you.
Maybe they'll throw the captaincy at him to kind of get them going in that direction, possibly.
See that?
Yeah, it'd be good for them. It'd probably put them in a good direction. Maybe they actually become more of a threat the following year.
Interesting.
Well, they have to work out the goaltending, though. I don't think Matt Murray is going to get the job done. I don't even think he's playing for them anymore. So,
no, my mistake. Brady Tkachuk.
Tkachuk is the captain. Okay.
Yep. 21-22 was his first season.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this was the first season, so that's why I wasn't up on the Sens this year.
So they'll throw an A at him. So that would work. Yeah. All right. So finish this off. Swoopy saying, instead of the bully style, make it all around natural, incredible, and incredibly quick skaters who can play an all-out, very aggressive and attacking pressure style of tempo, always after the opponent when they have the puck and never allowing them space. The players don't have the skills to play this style, but they love this style. Make sure they have a passion for it. Obviously, yeah. And a perfect example of that, Game 2, what Colorado did to Tampa. That's an example of that style. Very aggressive, quick skating, not letting Tampa breathe, and then shoving the puck down their throat, basically.
Right.
All right, then. Ted, the talk was Flyers wanted Torts after AV firing. Torts could have gotten out of his contract. It happens all the time. He implements his system, maybe find out who stays, who goes.
Yeah. I wouldn't have half minded that. It was better than just riding out the season. Get a jump start in terms of your player evaluation instead of going to a season cold.
True. I mean, if this was going to be the decision you were going to make the whole time.
Right.
All right. So that was our second period of the Flyers hiring John Tortorella. Well, all I can say is, I think at some point, the Ottawa GM said, we have a team. I think that's the best way to evaluate the Flyers right now. We have a team, and we'll find out. Yeah.
This Flyers team's way more talented than that Ottawa team.
All right, let's see here. We go to the third period, and our third period sponsor. You guys want to know how else you can make money if you become an A2D member? Guess what?
I do.
FanUp. Not just BetUS, but FanUp as well. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They were having daily NBA contests. That season is over now, but the MLB season is still in full swing, pun intended. And the Stanley Cup finals are still going, and who knows? Maybe we'll get 7 out of it. Hopefully. I'd like to see a 7-game Stanley Cup Finals. Win great prizes. Sign up today and use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. Go to fanup.app, download it, and start earning yourself some cash.
And I'm sure the NFL contests are starting up, best balls and whatnot.
Good point. Good point. The fantasy expert.
Fantasy football enthusiasts can't wait to get back because it's such a short impact season. And if you don't play other fantasy sports, you're bored, and I get it. But I'm just like, man, football is so far from my mind right now. I'm like crushing it in 3 leagues right now. My NFBC team started off hot. I've slipped down to 10th right now. I'm not happy what's going on, but my pitching staff's been ravaged with injury. And once I get healthy there, I have my confidence that I'll get back in it. But we'll see.
Hopefully. Hopefully you get back into it, win yourself some big bucks there, Rob.
In the A2D league, I just took my first L. I'm like 9-1.
Well, that's not bad. 9-1, that's pretty damn good right there.
Yeah, but see, I talked shit this week, and that's what gave me the 1.
Yeah. Lesson learned: don't talk shit.
I was undefeated. I was undefeated going into week 10, and then got aced on Sunday.
So I'm getting shit talked on me in my league because I'll tell you what, my one league we're already done drafting and all that. I'll just tell you which rookies I got. Is this the right one? I think this is the right one. Yeah, so I went Tyler Batty, not in any particular order here. Tyler Batty from Baltimore. I went Pierre Strong from New England. I actually wound up picking up Trey McBride on waivers. But I also went Isaiah Spiller and Damian Pierce. So in a 4-round rookie draft, I went 4 rookie running backs that could do some damage.
I love it. That's a good recipe because you got to figure 1 or 2 of them are gonna pay off. You know what I mean? Especially in a league that running backs get hurt so often. They're like the starting pitchers of baseball.
I think I have 1 player on my team right now. 1 player that is over the age of 25.
I like it. That's good for a dynasty league.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So Ted's saying I don't want the Avs to take a 3-1 lead tomorrow. I don't either.
I do.
Man, extend this shit all the way down to the game 7.
Hell yeah. I want this to be one hell of a Stanley Cup final. Tired of Tampa blowing out teams. I want to see a competitive Stanley Cup final.
Well, Tampa Bay wouldn't be blowing them out. The Colorado Avalanche would be blowing them out.
I know.
Yeah, no, Ted, people are starting up drafting their NFL teams. But, I mean, I do work in an industry where we give DFS advice for USFL right now. I don't know if XFL is going to come back. I think it is supposed to come back under the rock or something, but at least for the time being, I do some editing coverage for USFL. But to tell you I was familiar with it, I'd be lying. I know New Jersey's team's pretty good. They got a good shot in their playoffs, New Jersey Generals. So, yay. And then Philadelphia Stars, I think we're in it to win it too. So
you watch.
I have no idea who these teams are.
You watch. The Stars will go on to win like 5 or 6 championships, and no one's going to give a flying fuck about all the titles.
No, it'd be like the Soul.
Yeah, no one's going to give a shit.
Yeah, I want Colorado to get a lead, and like as much as I hate to say it, I'm ready for this season to be over because I want to get to the off season. I want to see what Anaheim's going to do. Very anxious to see what they do with Pat Verbeek at the helm now for his first off season, and also I need to get back more focused in on baseball and the Phillies right now, who in the top of the 6th, down 2-0, 2 runners on with 1 out here. And Matt Breeling comes up. Bottom of the 5th, Phillies gave up 2 back-to-back. 2 home runs.
They were going against former Red Sox pitcher, right? Martin Perez. He's been having a pretty good year. I think he's like what is he a sub-2 ERA guy?
I missed his stats from earlier. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like I'm so far out on baseball right now because of hockey.
Right.
We need a big hit here.
I know exactly what you're saying, brother. It's been tough, yo.
And Ted saying, I mean, I don't want 7 games. I want the Avs to take that 3-1 lead,
210.
then end it at home. My
Right.
bad. Oh, so you do want. Okay. Gotcha. Anthony saying, how come the XFL and the USFL don't have fans in their stadium?
Because
It's
not
hard
the
starting
NFL.
off new leagues. You don't know what that. You know what I mean? Like I saw a couple fans. I think they might have had a couple hundred.
I mean, it's football, but people love the NFL, man, and it's 2 very new leagues and that don't really have a ton of backing to it. Give it time.
The USFL is interesting though. They got a couple interesting rule. Like they have the double forward pass. You can throw 2 times forward as long as you're still behind the line of scrimmage. Like a couple other cool little rules which works that I mean for the people that are just into football and no other sports, you know what I mean? Like kind of like Maddie's like really into hockey, a little bit baseball, but mostly hockey, and that's it. You know what I mean? There's equally as many people that are just football and that's it. This is good. Like it's sort of like their methadone. You know what I mean?
Like for me, I love watching other hockey leagues. Like I'll watch a little Swiss League hockey. I'll watch a little of the a little bit of what used to be called the LSGN, which is now the SHL, the Swedish Hockey League. Maybe a little bit of the DEL, the German Hockey League. Like there's some good stuff out there. I mean, the KHL on an occasion. Hell. I'll watch the Japanese national team take on fucking Romania. I'll watch any kind of hockey you throw at me. I don't care. It's like I'll watch it, even if one team's getting blown out 10-2.
Right.
But so he's saying to me, and make sure to be leading in every defensive category: shots against, goals against, penalty kills, shorthanded goals, zone entries, zone exits, etc., while being around 6/8 in goals. Troy was also showing the Verling love there.
Yeah, he lined out, and that was a great play by Cole Calhoun in left field there. I mean, a spectacular diving catch.
That's true.
It's going to be a base hit, too. God.
Then he's saying
that's
your athleticism.
Yeah, we're going to hit around the league. So we're going to go to around the league now, and I got the list of the winners for the awards, so we can go through that. But before we dive in, was there any around the league topics you guys want to throw at us?
Nah, just the awards, man. I talked about the other coachings that went down today. I mean, of course, we talked about Bruce Cassidy last show, and whatchamacallit, and then the current states with Trotz. Where do you think he's going? You think he's going to go to Winnipeg?
I think so. I mean, the 2 other perfect fits already hired coaches. I'm not necessarily sure I know what Barry Trotz wants right now. I mean, he's been interviewed in a couple of different places. I could see him winding up in Detroit or Winnipeg. I think Bruce Cassidy is a perfect fit for Vegas. I thought Trotz may have been, but after they hired Bruce Cassidy, I didn't even think he had a shot. I loved it. I think that's a great fit for them. I think he's going to get Vegas back to the playoffs next year.
Right.
But Trotz, I think it's going to have to be either Detroit or Winnipeg. I think they're the only other 2 teams right now that have coaching vacancies.
Well, maybe with some hardware there in Detroit, you might want to go there, right, Maddie?
Maybe. might not be the worst option in the world, honestly.
Huge up and coming season for them.
Yeah.
But maybe Anthony's right here. Maybe Trotz takes the year off. Maybe he just kind of evaluates everything and says, you know what? Maybe I'll go here. Be patient with it. I mean, there's no rush. He's going to be in demand even if he takes a year off, especially if teams are underperforming. If, say, Detroit has an underperforming season, for example, they'd be clamoring for a Trotz. So it's not out of the realm.
Oh, wait, Boston's looking for a head coach too, right?
Yes, because they fired Bruce Cassidy. Yeah.
Maybe he goes to Boston. I think that could be actually the best fit of the teams that are still. So, I mean, we'll see.
That's what people were saying. Trotz has been rumored to be a GM too, so that's a possibility as well.
Weighing out his options, maybe wanting to take some time off, do some spiritual guidance. Do a deep search, find his neck.
That's a little bit of a low blow there, but okay.
You know what's really funny about that? What's really funny about that is I think it was either earlier today or last night. I'm going through like reels on social media because some of them are funny and I find some stand-up comedy on there. So I'm like, all right, let me check them out. Dude, I watched this one dude roast this one guy for not having a neck at all. Like, he's built big dude, right? He's like, dude, I tell you to go hang yourself, but I don't know where you would put the rope.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God.
I have to find it. I'm gonna have to send it to you guys. But like, he just absolutely roasted. This guy was dying laughing, and I'm like, all right, this guy's being a great sport about it. But it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and that was all like everything he said was like all in shock. It's like for shock and all, like shock
I'm all
factor.
about it. I'm all about
good.
it, dude.
It was funny.
See, the key with comedy, man, is that, and I mean, I assume that was, racially sensitive, that maybe he was talking about a white guy when he's talking about that. I assume. Wow.
The guy found it funny.
Right.
He was laughing.
But the thing of it is, in the true comedy world or whatever, you could give it out like that, and you could set, get liberties like say like a Dave Chappelle, for example, right? But even though he gets his own criticism, especially from the LGBTQ community, but I think the key thing is you got to be equally, if not more, hard on yourself, and with self-deprecation, humor. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you ride that line, you know what I mean. It's a very fine line, to get to. But that was pretty funny, though.
Oh, it was hysterical. Like, he just anything you could think of about like, any kind of like a neck joke he came up with off the top of his head, and it's just kind of like I'll have to find it and send it to you guys. It was good.
So I guess from now on we got to call Barry Trotz Coach No Neck. That's what we're going to call him from now on. He'll be Coach No Neck.
As I like try to step forward now, like extend my neck as far as possible.
All right, so
Not called the kettle black in a sense,
So let's get started here on the awards, and we got the perfect segue into it with Benny's Nation taking a little dig at Bry. Bry, you okay with Zegras not getting the Calder as the Calder Trophy?
I'm not worried about it. Yes,
for the rookie. For the Rookie of the Year, as voted by the PHWA. The finalists were Michael Bunting of the Maple Leafs, Moritz Seider of the Red Wings, and Trevor Zegras of the Ducks, and it went to Moritz Seider. So, Bry, you have anything you'd like to say?
He got cheated. No, I mean Mo definitely deserved to be in consideration for it. Do I think he should have won? No, I think Trevor Zegras was a little bit more. What's the word? I think he's changing the league in a way, and I think that like Mo Seider, great player. He's gonna be a great player, man. He's gonna be a great player. So is Trevor. Like everybody that was up for the Calder is going to be a great player, but I don't know. There's just something about Zegras that it jumps out at me. I think he should have definitely gotten the Calder. I don't know how Lucas Raymond he wasn't even a finalist, but I guess you got to choose one Red Wing, right?
I guess, right?
Thomas Bunting shouldn't have even been in consideration. I think he's going to be a good player, but. I don't know. Zegras is something special, and Zegras is changing the game. He's changing the game. This kid is fearless with the puck, and he's willing to do. I mean, he scored on the Michigan at least 3 times, and then he scored on a goal that all he did was flip the puck over the net, and wound up in the net. Like if he's not up for goal of the year candidate with at least 3 nominations. This kid's getting screwed already.
Screwed. I'll let you go on that rant about your boy.
That's right. I mean, to sit here and say that Seider doesn't deserve it, I would be lying.
50 points as a defenseman.
Favoritism. Yeah.
His rookie year, plus, play a solid defensive game.
I think Zegras finished with 60? No. I think so. I'm actually gonna look that up real quick. I think Zegras did wind up finishing with more points, but
I'm sure he did.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm saying for a defenseman, you know what I mean? Like that's impressive.
Of course. Yeah. No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Seider. He definitely deserves it. 61.
So 61. Gotcha. So with that, the Calder Trophy, Moritz Seider, Detroit Red Wings on a 50-point season, beating out Bunting.
He was a -9.
Is that a reflection?
-21.
All right.
I think that's more, but that's a reflection of the team more than necessarily the player.
Not on defense; it's a reflection of him.
Yeah, Zegras got robbed. Yeah,
I'm saying. Seider deserves it, but Seider deserves it. But
listen. But Zegras should have been pulling off the Michigan every night so that the Ducks could have been in the playoffs instead of the Kings. Come on.
Yeah, realistically, if he would have made it to the 80-point plateau, I think he gets the Calder. Hands down. But only having an 11-point lead forward versus defenseman, that might have been why they leaned back to Mo.
They just don't like the Ducks.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you guys did vote. This is your fault. You want to know why it's your fault? You guys voted the Red Wings jerseys to be the best. That's on you guys, not on me.
I didn't. Don't you know? No. I had nothing to do with that. I did not vote for the Red Wings. In fact, it was you and this one.
I didn't vote shit because I wasn't there.
Blame Cameron for Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all right?
All right.
Fuck off with that, Maddie.
You're my hero, Ferris Bueller.
But Bays Nation does bring up a good point. Maybe they got confused and voted for the player who played in Michigan instead of the guy who did the Michigan. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
That's good.
All right.
Year? Wait, what does that mean, Ted? Zegras had a ghost type of rookie year?
Meaning that it was a good year. Then, of course, they had to give it to the guy from the Blackhawks because they haven't had enough good things.
He played for Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say, not the Blackhawks. Actually, I don't know if the Blackhawks got nominated for anything, but let's see. So, the Willie O'Ree Community Award, individual who uses hockey as a platform to teach teamwork, humility, and respect and build inclusive communities. Noel Acton from Baltimore got that. I guess running a organization would be the assumption because not a player. Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award, player who exemplifies great leadership qualities to his team on and off the ice based on input from fans, clubs, NHL personnel, and decided by Messier. Yeah, every Vancouver fan calls bullshit on that Mark Messier leadership. But anyway, the winner of this award was Anze Kopitar of the Los Angeles Kings, which is an interesting choice, but not a bad one since Kopitar kind of found his old self and really helped the young Kings team get their first ever playoff berth. So that's not a bad choice.
Yeah, talking about leadership on his team and in his community too. He does a lot of charity work, So yeah, that came out. That was the ones that were announced a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Jack Adams Award, Coach of the Year, as voted on by the NHL Broadcasters Association. Daryl Sutter of the Calgary Flames. Obviously, this was before the series against Edmonton.
Well, yeah, but I mean, certainly the turnaround that he made for that club, you know what I mean? They were a strong contender in the playoffs.
They were. They should still be. I mean, next year I would expect them to have another good season and be back in it.
Sure.
All right, next award, the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, player who best exemplifies leadership on and off the ice and makes a noteworthy humanitarian contribution to his community. It goes to PK Subban of the New Jersey Devils, which is no shocker. PK Subban is a very well-known charity giver, and is known for being around like children's hospitals and such like that. So I'm not surprised PK Subban got this award.
Nah.
All right, good on him. Good on him.
William M. Jennings Trophy. Goalies who played a minimum of 25 games and whose team allowed the fewest goals. That wound up going to a tie or a tandem of Freddie Anderson and Antti Runta of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Lady Byng Trophy, player who exhibited the best type of sportsmanship and gentlemanly play as voted on by the PHWA. That was Kyle Connor of the Winnipeg Jets who got that. Well, at least the Jets got something.
I see what you're saying, Ted. I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm following you now.
What's up, Wills?
Willie.
Yeah,
What's up, buddy?
Ted's saying, my point was Shane Ghost had great rookie year in points, that huge streak. Give it to Shy rookie, your Ducks rookie, lost to the guy from Detroit rookie.
I get what you're saying now. We're on the same page.
And let's see here. The Bill Masterton Trophy, player who best exemplifies perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey as voted on by the PHWA. Carey Price of Montreal got that, and obviously, I believe Kevin Hayes was nominated for this. But both men had some really difficult hurdles thrown in their way. Carey Price was his substance abuse issues, which he went to go see treatment on, which was a good thing, great thing. On Kevin Hayes, of course, he had his injuries, but what really, unfortunately, his brother passed away due to his substance abuse issues that Jimmy Hayes had. So, which I think was a big leading catalyst of one of the reasons why Carey Price decided, I need to go get my stuff taken care of, because that's just not, and that's a good thing. I'm happy Price did the right thing. He went to go seek the treatment he needed to go seek. And let's see. Frank J. Selke Trophy, best defensive forward, as voted on by the players. Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins, and if he is retiring,
It's learning for him.
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah, this might be his swan song because he might be retiring. It seemed like there's been a lot of talk about him hanging him up, so may very well. Let's see. Maurice the Rocket Richard Trophy. Most goals in the regular season, obviously going to Austin Matthews, who had 50 freaking goals. What a season for Austin Matthews. It's a shame that the Maple Leafs drew Tampa in the first round, because who knows what would have happened. Wasn't it 50? Or was it more?
More.
Oh, okay.
I think he broke 60.
He broke 60. Okay, never mind.
He broke 60. I think he finished with like 62.
Nice. Great year.
You verify that.
While you look that up, Art Ross Trophy, most points in the regular season, Connor McDavid, which shouldn't really surprise anybody. And let's see here.
It up, yeah.
Yeah. And the Norris Trophy, the top defenseman as voted on by the PHWA. The nominees were Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Roman Josi of the Nashville Predators, and Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche. And Ted said Jesus broke 60.
He actually hit 60 on the nose.
Nice. So he made 10 more.
Nice.
So let's see here. Ironically, Cale Makar and Victor Hedman were nominated for this now that they're facing off with each other in the Stanley Cup final. But Cale Makar walks away with the Norris Trophy. I wonder if that's a sign. But could be.
I know what it is, though. It's the first Avs player ever to win the Norris.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that the Avs, they had some top defensemen in their history. You had Sandis Ozolinsh, you had Adam Foote. You had some great defensemen who have been in that team, but impressive for Cale Makar, to be fair. I thought he was
going to Adam Fox again. I thought he was going to go back-to-back Norris Trophy winning defenseman.
Not a bad choice. Another great season for him. Ted Lindsay Award, the most outstanding player as voted on by the NHL Players Association. The nominees were Roman Josi, Austin Matthews, and Connor McDavid, and it went to Austin Matthews. And I felt bad for Roman Josi here because he wasn't going to win that. It was it was either going to be McDavid or it was going to be Matthews.
Right.
I don't know. He had a great year. I think he set a record for points or goals by a defenseman this year. or something. I'm going to look up his stats real quick, but I know he put up crazy numbers for a defenseman.
That is good, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to argue against Matthews and McDavid. It's very hard.
Well, I mean, Matthews throwing up 60 goals this year. Yeah. Roman Yossi did in 80 games, had 23 goals, 73 assists for 96 points. I think he said it. Like I said, I think he set a record for. It might have been a franchise record for points by a defenseman.
I think we're seeing a trend. I think the big heavy goal scoring is coming back to the league because this is the kind of shit D-men are doing. Like, holy hell. And plus Cale Makar with the kind of season he's had. Whew, I think we're due for a new era of big time scoring happening. And I'm here for it, to be completely honest with you. But let's see. Vezina Trophy, the best goalie, as voted on by NHL general managers. The finalists were Jacob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames, Juuse Saros of the Nashville Predators, and Prince Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers. And the Prince walks away with the Vezina. And, I mean, that probably is a no-brainer. Not to take away from Markstrom and Saros. Not to take anything away from them. Had great seasons, both of them. But, yeah. I think they made the right choice with Igor.
Yeah, I mean, he led the league in both goals against and save percentage. That's usually game, set, match.
Yeah. Let's see here. On to the Hart Trophy.
I think Saros had the most shutouts, though, so that's what gave him a little outside chance, though. Something like that. I think we were looking into that a few shows ago.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I mean, hey. Saros is going to have plenty of seasons ahead. You know, I mean, he'll get one. He'll get a Vezina. But
off his neck.
Let's see, the Hart Trophy, the most valuable player as voted on by Professional Hockey Writers Association. And the nominees were Connor McDavid of the Oilers, Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers, and Austin Matthews of the Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews walks away with the Hart Trophy, the most popular trophy, the MVP of the year. And then that's fade to black for the NHL awards. So do you guys agree with that choice of the Hart? Or do you think Prince Igor should have gotten it, or should McJesus have gotten that?
I think to Brian's point with the goals, you know what I mean? It was a clean sweep for Austin Matthews and well-founded.
You gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's his best year so far. What's up, Jake? I'm saying it's crazy how the Rangers go from Hank to Igor. Wish the Flyers were that lucky with goalies. That's because the Flyers don't develop players. That's their biggest issue.
I mean, you got Carter Hart. Carter Hart's going to be just fine, Jake. Don't you worry about him.
Yes. And let's see here. And Ted's saying he believed McDavid should have gotten that Hart Trophy.
That's fair. Best player in the world.
He's the best player in the world, but Austin Matthews had a better year.
I will say, I still hope this happens, and it's still very possible. We're still very early into Matthews and McDavid's careers. It's weird to say that, even though they've been in the league for about, 5 or 6. But look at everything they're doing already, and it's this early into their careers. But
it wasn't Saros. It was Markstrom who led the league with 9 shutouts.
Okay.
That's who it was. That's what I thought. He had an outside chance of it. Shesterkin had 6. Sorokin for the Islanders had 7. He was number 2.
Interesting. I mean, considering the fact the Islanders did not have the best season in the world, but that's intriguing. All right. So, like I was saying, one of the things that I would love to see, because it could happen, I would love to see a Stanley Cup Finals between Toronto and Austin Matthews leading the way and Connor McDavid and the Oilers. That would be a fun Stanley Cup Final to watch. I mean, I would assume by then Mike Smith will still be the goaltender of Edmonton. And somehow, some way, he managed to get them to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then they'll get swept by Toronto. But because that's just how that shit works.
This is pretty cool. Great. Gracie Hunt just liked something I posted on Instagram.
Nice.
What happened? Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on in the Phillies game right now. They're challenging something. I don't know what it is.
Ted, I believe that if Torts' defensive system comes into play, then yes, Hart will be much better. Because if the defense can actually do its job in front of him and Hart's not left on an island, absolutely. I think that absolutely makes Hart better. But if it doesn't work, well, then we're back to square one now, aren't we? Point is that we need a real good, solid defense in front of Hart, and we haven't really had that. And that's something we need to have from him, in front of him. So don't get me wrong, Hart's a great goaltender, but you still need a defense. You still need the defense.
I think that's one area that's going to improve, though. I really do. I mean, we got to see what hopefully we have a healthy Ellis, maybe with a new system, a new voice in the locker room, Proby turns it around, turns that attitude around too, stops pointing the finger and takes responsibility for his own game.
Yeah, hopefully. One can dream. One can dream that the Flyers will be competent, right?
It's possible.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So, two Canadian teams in the Cup Finals. Bizarro world. Be the only way that Canada will get the Cup at this point.
Two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Just be better. I mean, let's be real. Just be better.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true. Can't argue with that logic. All right, so on to our shootout segment to wrap this baby up. And it is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal and the great crew over at Specialized Physical Therapy. Whether you need to go to Burlington or Cherry Hill, does not matter. Just make an appointment at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. If you got any aches and pains or any kind of issues going on, any kind of soreness, go to them and get it taken care of. Bri used them for his shoulder, and his shoulder was great after that.
Sorry,
all right.
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here.
Waiting patiently. They say the anticipation is the worst part. So,
best part.
Depends on what, though.
That's a good point.
See.
Phillies into 5 minutes of glory. I love that anticipation.
5 minutes of glory. Well done, sir.
All right, gents. So our shootout segment for today, we start off with our best moment of the week. So, what do you think it was? Like your favorite moment so far in the Stanley Cup Finals, or maybe from the awards?
I don't know if I have one. I haven't watched much of the Stanley Cup Finals, and these awards are just kind of what I expected, minus the Calder. Rob, you got one?
I alluded to it earlier, so I'll jump in with it. It comes from last night's game, and it's Nick Paul, taking that hit by Josh Manson and falling awkwardly. Leaves he leaves for the locker room, comes back in the second period to give it a go, plays a shift and scores a big goal in the game while injured, and then leaves the game. Hashtag hockey.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool moment.
Right.
Ted said the Avs going up 7-0, so putting the 7th spot was his favorite moment.
Nice.
You know what? I do have a cool moment. Corey Perry scoring in the Stanley Cup Finals for 4 different teams.
There you go.
There you go. And by the way, if Tampa does lose this Stanley Cup Final, we're going to have to start talking about the curse of Corey Perry. Because that's 3 straight teams, and neither one of them won.
Is there a curse, though? Because he does have his name on the cup.
Oh.
Yeah, but not recently, and it doesn't. He hasn't done anything.
No matter.
No. it's not, the curse isn't on himself. It's on the teams he's playing on besides Anaheim, who drafted him. So it wasn't like they took him in on like a free agency or a trade.
Continue to backpedal there, man.
As a hired gun, he's 0 for 3, but he does have a cup, unlike Claude Giroux. So we can't say much, Matty.
Keep backpedaling there, Matty.
Backpedaling? Who was backpedaling? He
were.
got lucky and he was a rookie on a team that was ready to win. Simple as that.
It was a curse of Corey Perry. There is no curse.
Yeah, because he hasn't won a cup when he hasn't won a cup since then. What does that tell you?
That would make an awesome novel title, though. The Curse of Corey Perry.
Sounds like a Danielle Steele book.
Right. I was thinking more like Hardy Boys, but whatevs.
What the
Hardy Boys? More like the Harley Boys. I'm getting a clue. My clue is so raging right now.
Ted's completely on my side on this one, so I will absolutely stay vindicated there.
Ted likes me, and that's fine.
All right. So with that saying, we go to
when he's got his name on the cup already. Come on. I'll just sit here and drink my water.
All right. You drink your water.
I will.
All right. So favorite moment of the week for me, honestly, I'm going to say, I got to roll with that Andre Palat goal. That was such a nice fucking play and such a nice setup. It's just like, God damn, man, that's pretty. Like, it's just, you got to love a pretty play. You just got to sit back and admire, even if it happens to your team. Like when McCarr did that shit to the Flyers early on in the season, where he just stole the puck and just walked it right down onto Hart. Like, you know what? I can't even be mad. McCarr just shat all over us, but that's just impressive all the same.
It's just elite offense and seeing a play just executed to perfection. Something we haven't seen for a while, so I think it stands out even more to us, Matty.
Yeah, definitely.
Tic-tac-toe goal,
Yeah, good old tic-tac-toes are nice, just like the one time.
Right. There we go.
Ted saying, any chance you guys talk about possible Flyers getting traded besides JVR, who we're all expecting? We'll definitely be talking about that. We'll talk about that probably when the draft gets brought around and, we get into the offseason and the free agency. We'll go down the roster of Flyers players and we'll see and we'll address what we have and what we might not have in terms of contracts and such like that, basically.
Sure.
So we'll definitely be taking a look at that in the coming weeks after the finals is all said and done. All right, and now on to our hot take of the week. Gentlemen, the fun one. Take it away.
Well, I said mine before, and I'll repeat it again. There were about 6 coaches I would have hired before Torts. So instead, during this portion of the program, not being redundant for my reasonings there, I'm going to repeat the hot take that I gave last week before we got the news about the Flyers hire. And my hot take was John Tortorella will be the next coach for the Philadelphia Flyers, much to my chagrin. So I love it. And I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit because I was right. And some people are happy about it. Benny sounded like he supported the move. Jimmy from over at Flyers Extreme was very happy about the hire. So, hey, maybe pigs will fly,
Pigs will fly. Fish will ride bicycles. Cats and dogs will live together. Oh, wait a minute. They already
mass
did.
hysteria. I picked up that reference. That was well done.
I think we broke Brian. Again.
Broken for a very long time. He was broken long before he jumped on this show, but
broken.
Yes. Brian, do you have a hot take, brother?
Next head coach for the Detroit Red Wings is going to be Barry Trotz.
Okay. All right. My hot take.
Yeah.
My hot take. The Avs will win Game 5, and then Tampa will come all the way back from 3-1 to win it in 7.
I don't like that, but that's fine.
Ted saying, come on, that wasn't a hot take. We're saying after AV got fired, Torts was going to be the guy for 6 months.
I don't know if it was quite that long, but apparently based on what you were saying before that they wanted to hire him after they fired AV, I was not privy to that information at that time because I would have, puked on air live when that broke.
Don't do that.
I was just going based on the finalists. We were talking about the finalists came out. I thought there was some other guys that were a clear better fit, but I just knew that they were going to go and do something dumb. So maybe it was obvious.
I mean, Flyers and dumb do go well.
True. Don't worry about that, Ted. I deserve the heat when anyone pats himself on the back. Like I encouraged Brian to do. Like I encouraged him to do. It was my fault that he did it, so I take responsibility for that. Back pat. But that's
Well,
you deserve criticism when you do that.
I do. I do what I want. I submit to no peer pressure. If I want to do it,
I'm my own man.
I am my own man, and I stand strong.
Like turning down strippers.
I'm just put the brown bag.
While I'm turning down strippers, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And Ted saying, man, you really want to see the world burn, man. Bolts come back after being down 3-1. Listen, I am a ginger, goddammit. Who wouldn't want to see the world burn if that's the case? Jesus. How much
Some men just want to see the world burn.
I feel like that would be painful. I don't want that.
And Troy's saying, just blame it on Brian. All right. So the world will burn. I'll blame it on Brian.
Everybody else.
All right. All right. So one final one, boys. Your biggest surprise from the final so far?
That's 7-0 domination in Game 2.
That should be pretty obvious. Yeah, that's a pretty surprising. Yeah. But yeah, I think that was my big surprise too. Like I've never seen in the finals, at least in recent memory, I can't remember a team getting that fucking pummeled like that. Even teams that were mismatched, I don't remember seeing that kind of a beatdown. Rob, you got a different surprise at all?
Yeah, I mean it's in the same realm, but I'll say the Avs matching Tampa Bay's physicality, or their overall physical intensity. I mean, overall for the playoffs, Colorado has stepped up their physical game in a big way, and it's no wonder they've made it to the Stanley Cup final with a legit chance to win the cup as opposed to years past where they were missing that element of the game, which made them a great regular season team, but fall short when it came, to put the proof in the pudding come playoff time. So, to me, I didn't expect that. I really saw a distinct advantage there as we broke down, me and you, Maddie, when we were previewing Game 1, that Tampa Bay had the edge of net and they had the edge of physicality. And I think they still, as we talked about earlier, Brian, they've had that edge still, but it's been closer than I would have put my money on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has been a lot closer and definitely very physical. So that will be the future of that Stanley Cup Finals. As for us, though, we are done for the evening, gentlemen. And next week, we will have a Stanley Cup champion, I believe, because let's see, if we follow this trend, we have a game tomorrow. And then after that, if we get another game, maybe we won't, come to think about it, especially if they take another 2 days off and decide to put a game on Saturday. So maybe we won't. But all the same, though, Actually, I got the game up now, Troy. The Rangers are up 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th.
And it's about to get worse because Juris Familia just took the mound.
Yeah. That bum. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You have him back.
Hey,
I don't want him no more.
but you know what you'll see though, and it's about to come, dude. As the weather gets hot, Familia gets hot because he gets that sinker just diving straight down. I mean, I don't know where he's at. I haven't been watching him pitching. Maybe his skills have depreciated. But if that warm weather Familia comes out for you guys, watch him have a stretch of like 4 to 6 weeks of like pure domination for your bullpen. Mark, like I know I've seen it for a long time.
I hope. No,
Yeah.
Phillies aren't winning. Phillies are down 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th, and there's already a runner on.
Yeah, Maddie. The way it'll work out, if it goes 7, it'll be Tuesday night.
Now I really hope that we get a Game 7 because then we get to react to a Stanley Cup Finals game that will crown the champion. Fuck yes! Now this has to happen.
Let's fucking go. Game 7. Let's go.
Yes,
That'd be the
let's
first
do
one.
this. What? Well, no, that's true. We did cover when the Capitals won in Game 5. But all the same, though, it would be awesome to see it happen again because we didn't get a chance to do it last year or the year before that. So let's do it.
It'll be like our season finale. You know what I mean? Before we go into the off season.
And we can take a couple weeks off,
Right?
take a little break, and then head into the off season.
All right. So
I need
finishing
to get away,
up.
Me too. And I just got back.
I will say though, having taken I took a trip to AC on I believe it was Wednesday, and it was nice. Good little trip
Nice.
going to the Hard Rock Cafe,
Nice.
having that nice buffet. They got a nice buffet up there in Hard Rock, I'll tell you. And
Okay.
yeah, it was not a bad stop. I'll be honest with you, it was actually a really good time.
You want a little ducats?
No, I mean, I had some and then I lost it in the slots, but oh well. You win some, you lose some down in AC, don't you?
What happens?
You wouldn't catch me dead in AC anymore. It's such a shithole of a city anymore. Sorry, Maddie. I am glad you had a good time. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like, for real. But you wouldn't catch
Here's
me dead
Brian.
in AC anymore.
Here's your story. Here's him pissing all over your stuff.
That's all right, man.
No,
Listen,
I'm glad you had a good time. But seriously, I hate AC anymore.
True. I'm not arguing with you.
Listen, Brian isn't happy unless it's unless he sees cars turning left for about 7 hours. So it's all right. It's okay.
What I will say though, Maddie, is that
Wow.
that's still winning though, man. You have a good night and you drop a few dollars in the slots and you're not losing the shirt off your back. That's a good night.
Yeah.
Huge win. And just for the record, you can sit there and make fun of the NASCAR or whatever, the racing. Have you seen the girls that involve themselves in that sport?
Okay. All right.
All day, my friend.
Okay. All right. I will give you that. I cannot argue that. Okay. You win on that one. I will concede
right.
that point, good sir.
You're damn right.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of her name before we jump off. That's on. I think it's on NBC Sports that like hosts like the before the race is like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Shit. Host.
Oh, before I forget, just reminded me.
Well, while you look that up, real quick.
Another reason to get into golf.
Okay. Well, while you look up another reason to get into golf, let's give a quick read. Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Ave, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order. Whenever you dine in, take out, you go online at Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. And you got it, Bri? You brought it up? All right, there you go.
Time to tee off here, boys.
Whoa. Who is that?
Her name is Paige. She used to be on the LPGA, and then she had to stop golfing. And now she covers it.
Wait a minute, why did she have to stop golfing?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, it was one of those things. Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know if I'd go and say it's one of those things, but I don't know the actual story.
All right. Yeah. Blowjob or two. Anyway, moving on.
No, it wasn't that.
Hey now.
But listen, if everybody out there who's watching or if you're listening or what have you, if you want to support the Hockey Happy Hour and you want to support A2D,
A2D bombshell.
there you go.
Solid.
Troy, you suck. I don't mean that, Troy. I don't mean that at all. But
if you guys want to support the Hockey Happy Hour and A2D, Bri, where can they go?
head over to Philly Drinkers. That's Philly Drinkers LLC. They got all kinds of great merch over there. T-shirts, hats, mugs, whatever you can think of. Support the show. Support the station as a whole. Don't matter either way. Just head on over to phillydrinkers.com. You help us out, and it helps you out, and you get some great quality stuff right there. So phillydrinkers.com, Philly Drinkers LLC. Alex, take good care of you.
Absolutely. All right, and we are brought to you by, as always, Manscaped. Like it says right here, 20% off, free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits, gentlemen, and upgrade your life. And upgrade your ladies' life on top of it, because what do they not like?
That funky junk.
Yeah. So get rid of that shit and take care of it. And, you know, make the ladies love you. Make their life upgradable. It's not just your life you're upgrading. You're upgrading their life and their experience. So think about that. You think about that. Don't be selfish. Get Manscaped. All right, gentlemen.
And, you know, you get up to the, you know, the north of the border, and things are all, you know,
Ted's comments.
You know, sharing's caring. Share your razor. Help her get all cleaned up too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
Ted,
right. That's right.
She might be. She might be of golf. She might be that.
I mean, if she's not a stripper, I'll do more than talk.
I'll do more than talk.
Like I said, man, best 5 minutes of her life.
Love it.
Time to do the experiment. Let's go grab the breakfast burrito and turn the microwave on. Let's see who finishes first. All right.
Hey now.
I'd lose.
All
All right, let's
right.
Let's go.
Gentlemen, we thank everybody for tuning in and joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Next week, who knows? Maybe we might have a Game 7. I hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But until then, we will see you next week. I am Matt Satsudi, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly and the Broken One Rob Povia. We will see you guys next week right here on A2DRadio.com. Get pumped, get excited. Game 4's tomorrow, Tampa versus Colorado. Until then, peace and love, everyone.